And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. It's the end of the world as we know it. Montana's been on fire for a month. Florida has 3 hurricanes headed towards it. And Houston is still half underwater.
Yeah, Houston, sad.
Have you been?
No, I've just, you know, a lot of my exes are there, and she's sending me photos and videos. Like, her whole neighborhood's gone. And, like, people have to put everything outside for the insurance collectors to look at it. You know, so there's just, everyone's house has a pile in front of it of all their stuff. And it says, like, no looting, please, you know.
I saw that on TV.
Yeah.
Fuck. Dude, it's like, there's nothing stopping that from happening for months. Like, this is the thing about, like, Hurricane Irma. Like, they have Harvey hits Houston, and then Hurricane Irma. They, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they said that this is very unusual because Hurricane Irma picked up speed in the ocean, which is a really bad sign. They usually pick up speed in the Gulf, and the idea is that the Gulf has water that's warmer, and that's what causes I don't know shit about hurricanes. I'm totally talking out of my ass, right? I really don't understand it, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying, is that this is a very unusual storm because it actually picked up speed and picked up size and power in the ocean, which means the ocean's warmer. So this could be a consequence of having a warmer ocean, is that these fucking hurricanes could get bigger and bigger in the ocean.
And it's really unusual because, you know, you have like such a big storm like the one that hit Houston. That's usually once a year, once every couple of years. It's not twice in like a month.
Yeah.
And then there's like, what, Jose's right behind it?
Yeah.
That's craziness.
I think they said there's 2 behind it.
Well, the other one formed in the Gulf next to, like, off Mexico, east of Mexico.
So it's just another one at the same time, but in a different place?
Sitting there right now. And there could be another one forming off of the Cape in Africa where they all usually form, but...
Fuck, man.
We don't get hurricanes because it's cold water. Is that the logic behind it?
Yeah, I think that's the move. You want to live near cold water. Just suck it up like a man and deal with that cold water. That water is fucking cold, too. When you get in the water in the Pacific Ocean, you're like, hey, what is this? Like, this is weird. It's crazy cold. Even in the middle of August. It could be 100 degrees in Malibu. You get in that water and you're like, holy shit. Like, this is fucking cold.
I've only been in it twice since I've lived here, like 13 years. I remember the first week I moved out here, I was like, I'm going to the ocean, I'm running the ocean, freezing, never hit it again.
What is all this you're showing us, Jimmy? Please don't say that's hurricanes.
No,
these storm of hurricanes.
These are the tropical cyclones of the 2017 Pacific hurricane season. So these are cyclones that I guess have already happened this year. I was assuming when I was pulling it up, they were in the past, like long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know this many had already come in here.
You know, when you look at this picture, like if you look at this picture of the United States, it gives you such a way better sense of what it really is. Because that picture, like, because all the browns and the greens, and because I'm not seeing cities, and because it's like a perfect scale, like pull back a little bit so you see it in scale with the ocean again. Like when you're looking at that, you realize, oh, that shit could shift left and right a bunch of times. Easy. Like, there's way more water than there is ground. Like, that is a fucking problem. That's a giant problem. We're next to an enormous chunk of blue. It's so big. Dude, I'll tell you, man, when I was living in that house in Malibu for a couple months on the water, I rented a spot on the water. That's when you realize, you go, oh, that's a monster. That's like you're living on the edge of a world that can just reach in and swallow you.
Did it freak you out? Did you?
Fuck yeah. You know when it freaks you out is at night. At night, it like reveals its true self. Because like in the day, it looks beautiful. The sun hits it. It seems so peaceful. The birds are squawk, squawk, squawk. You see a seal or maybe a dolphin or a whale. Sometimes you see a whale. People see whales out there. You're like, wow, this is crazy. But then at nighttime, when the sky is dark and the sea is black, then you get to see what it really is. Like, oh, this is a whole nother world. A world of water, and we can touch it. We can go in between worlds, and that world is far bigger than our world. And then I started freaking out about all the shit that we're pulling out of that world. Like, how gross are we? Humans we're like just netting everything in that world and scooping it up, just chopping it up and stuffing it into cans and feeding it to our pets and eating it like left and right, raw sushi, yummy, like the never-ending supply. Fuck that the world of the ocean is a real trip if you stop and think about what it really is. Because if it was in the sky above your head, you'd be freaked out all the time. You know, if like you reached up to touch it, you'd be freaked out. You wouldn't want to be right next to that thing. You're like, Jesus, it's too alien. I can't get away from it. But because it's right there and it's blue and we're on the ground, we feel like we're in control. We're cocky because most of the time nothing happens. I'm like, nah, no big deal. It's right there. I love the beach. I like going to the beach. Get some sun, catch some rays. It's like we like flirting with death. Just standing at the edge of this impossible to control life force filled with creatures, filled with the biggest creatures in the world, right? Aren't whales the biggest things on Earth?
Yeah.
I think you know what they are? They're the biggest living thing on Earth next to this. There's like a group of mushrooms in the Pacific Northwest that are all connected and all considered to be one enormous life form. Yeah, I got to get this guy, Paul Stamets. I think that's his name. I believe that's how you say his name, rather. He's a guy who studies mushrooms. He's a mushroom scientist. It's fascinating studies, fascinating like articles and stuff online.
It's in the Blue Mountains in Oregon.
Yeah, there it is.
Is it on the world's biggest shit?
More precisely, a specific honey fungus measuring 2.4 miles across in the Blue Mountains. It's known as the largest living organism on Earth. Several species of fungi belong to the, try that word, Armillaria genus. Genus or genus? How do you say that? That's a read one. That's one I read, I never say. You know, I never use that in a conversation unless I'm being super pretentious. I'd have to be like really high to be that pretentious. Armillaria genus, which is probably popularly known as honey fungus. 2.4 miles across. I like how they give it to us in kilometers. Like, if you don't want to be stupid, 3.8 kilometers. If you want to be like the rest of the world and do everything in tens, you fucking idiots. Sticking to miles and inches.
Why do we do that?
Because we're gross.
It's the worst.
There's parts of America that are gross. We're like, nah, we got it. You know, like that. Well, we found a much better system. It makes more sense. It's all in tens. The whole world use it. Nah, good luck. Good luck with that fucking stupid system. I'll take inches, bro. Yards, inches.
It feels good too when you're in like other countries and you're like, why are you going 120 miles an hour? Oh wait, it's
it's different. So they're like 62 is like, I want to say it's 100 kilometers an hour, but I think it's actually more than that.
I was just always thinking it's half, but that's probably wrong.
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Is 62 100 miles an hour?
Yeah. 100 kilometers.
100 kilometers rather, 62 miles an hour?
Yep.
Okay. 100 sounds cooler. You know? Kilometers are just cool. They're better. We're using some old king shit. Inches.
It'd be weird to change now, though. Like, we had to be born with that. Like, it's, you know.
Well, dude, I don't know about when you were in high school, but when I was in high school, they were trying. There was a real push to get people to use the metric system that I don't think exists anymore. I don't know. But, I mean, maybe it was just the schools that I was in. I would like to talk to other people that are like my age that could remember like the 1980s. Because in the 1980s, I think that they were trying to push the metric system. I think I kind of caught it on the tail end.
I don't remember it at all from school.
Haha, United States is now the only industrialized country in the world that does not use the metric system. And its predominant system of measurement. Most Americans think that our involvement with metric measurement is relatively new, but it's not, right? What year did they try to do it? 1975. See? The Metric Conversion Act of 1975. Yeah, that's what I remember, dude.
Gerald Ford.
Yeah, they were trying that. Because, maybe it wasn't. Maybe I wasn't in high school. Maybe it was before high school.
I think it was. I was looking something up the other day. I think it was when you asked, are the presidents allowed to change the White House or something? And I think it was Ford that added solar panels to the White House. I was looking up, and then the next president, which might have been Nixon, took them out,
Hmm.
and they didn't have them reinstalled, I think, until Obama was there, like, whatever,
What a
5 years
dick.
ago.
Right.
So it was like 25 years of no solar panels when they already had them. We were already headed that way. Super weird.
That is weird.
You see the new Apple campus that they're gonna show, I guess, next Tuesday when they have.
I haven't seen much of it, but I know that it's supposed to be some insanely impossible, huge, crazy place.
It looks like a spaceship. It's now finished. They have like drone footage that you can like just go around. It looks just like a round donut spaceship, and the whole roof is solar collectors.
Look at that thing.
That powers itself.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
That might be a computer image of it. But
I think
that's
that
what it
is.
looks like.
Wow. Who cares?
Yeah.
Zoom back in on that computer image. That's insane. It must be so cool to have the kind of money where you could just build something. Like, what you guys want to do? Let's make a spaceship, bro.
Yeah.
Let's make a fucking giant Apple spaceship. Should we make it the shape of an apple? Nah. That's too corny. They could have easily made that thing an apple, but then they would have never been able to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna go to like a tire company
They
next.
would never be able to sell it, man. You know?
Yeah.
If they, no one wants to buy your stupid Apple.
You don't like the touch bar on your MacBook. I've not even seen one in person yet.
It's this is what I think. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's kind of cute, but it does a lot of different stuff that I never use. And maybe it's me, but also there's like a Siri button that I accidentally press all the time while I'm typing because I suck at typing. I'm okay, you know. I'm not very good at it. I really should practice and get better at it. I just have it every time I get a chance to write. I just write.
You can turn it off, right? The touch bar though. You can. I think you could.
You can do stuff with it, but I mean, I don't know if you could totally turn it off because then you turn off the volume control. That's where the volume control is.
Oh fuck! Really?
The brightness, the volume control, everything. The real problem is that fucking Siri button that's right above the delete key. With my fat, stupid fingers, I touch that thing at least once a day.
You
It
could turn
pops
Siri
up.
off.
She's off.
Okay.
You're off, bitch. Yeah, but I don't want Siri on my goddamn laptop. But it's just an accidental touch thing. And it's not the best keyboard. It's a very shallow touch. You know, and some people like that. It's very precise. I'll give it that. But I like the IBM or the those ThinkPads. Those who's making those? Lenovo, right? Yeah.
Yep.
They have a way better feel to their keyboard.
Mechanical.
Yeah, when Apple's operating system to me is just way better. I shouldn't say way better because Windows 10 is really good. It's just more familiar, I should say, at this point. It was way better for a long time, for sure. But there's more options if you want to buy a Windows computer. Like, you can get so many different kinds of computers. You can get big ones, small ones. You get ones with interesting keyboards. You get ones with keyboards that feel like, you know, like that, like a MacBook. Or you get other ones like a ThinkPad that it feels almost like a mechanical keyboard. It's got a lot more touch to it. It seems stupid, but to me that like tactile feel is a very important part of writing. It helps like I like to get in a good groove with where my fingers are growing. And when I have actual physical keys that stick up a little bit more and they have a little push to them, my fingers find their way better. It's hard when you're on this like very thin keyboard. Just me.
Yeah,
I
always upgrade my keyboards. Like I like Razer keyboards are really nice. They make good ones.
I have a mechanical Razer keyboard for my computer at home.
I love Razer.
They're the shit.
Yeah. I got one of those Razer laptops. I decided to switch over to PC for VR gaming and all that stuff. And the keyboard is a mechanical one. You would love it. It's just almost like a typewriter.
Really?
Yeah, the Razer Blade Pro.
Those are slick looking devices too, man. They are like literally like it's a Windows version of a MacBook. Like as far as like the build quality and everything.
Yeah, and it's got the most powerful graphics card in it, desktop graphics card.
They're very slick. Very slick. They make a lot of cool shit. They make the best gaming mices too.
They made that thing I told you about at CES, that 3-screen laptop. I don't think it's out for sale yet.
It was
That's
stolen.
crazy.
Somebody stole that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know how deep you're going when you get 3 screens popped open? They're all on porn.
Yeah.
3 different movies going at the same time. Plus you're playing a game in the background.
Do you worry about like our devices constantly listening to us at all time, like Alexas and Siris and
Well, they definitely are.
Oh, they are. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how they work. Like, hey Siri, you know.
I feel like this is all inevitable. I feel like this is where it's all going. You know, I think that you could fight it off if you want, and you could probably stay out of it for a really long time. But ultimately, we are so much less private today than we were a decade ago. And I don't think people really feel it yet. Because a lot of the people that are like 25 today, you guys grew up with the internet being like this preeminent thing. Like Brian and I, when we were kids, there was nothing. And then all of a sudden it came about when we were in adulthood. And you're like, whoa, this is nuts. Like, this is all connected? Like, how the fuck? And it's like the whole world is learning a whole new style of being a person because of this connection. I mean, it's changing everything.
And kids are born into that. Like, they've had it since they were born nowadays.
Oh, for sure.
So they're completely different people.
Dude, I went down a rabbit hole the other day. I went down a rabbit hole of vegan bloggers who are mean to other vegan bloggers and claim that they're not even vegan. It was crazy. I was like, I just went down a total wrong rabbit hole. And people are accusing people of not being vegan, and people are suing people. I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is...
Vegan lawsuits?
Vegan lawsuits. Yeah, defamatory lawsuits. People talking shit lawsuits. I'm like, whoo. Man, you can go down a rabbit hole, right? You know, that's never been the case before. Before you can get into a good book, you know, you go, this book is the shit, man. I can't put it down. It's a page turner. But you could never like just go from subject to subject instantaneously. Your stupid little brain just sucking up all the fucking motorcycle accidents and coyote attacks, and just there's never been a person like us. In terms of like the person with that kind of access to information. We're the first generation ever. Like there's never been anyone before us. And we're all figuring it out as we go along.
It's like we're at the library nonstop, like at the card catalog, looking up stuff, doing research papers, you know, nonstop.
Nonstop on everything. Nonstop on everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got all your factions. You know, people group up. They group up. You got white supremacist factions. You got flat earth factions. You got, I mean, you got giant groups of people who chunk up together and they all like share memes and they make fun of everybody else. Dude, I saw one online. It was a flat earth guy calling all people who believe the earth is round globe heads. And it was like, and I was like, what is this? And there's a whole series of them. There's like hundreds of them, dude, where people are mocking the idea that the earth is round. You can fucking find anything online, man. Anything. Any weird group, you can find them. Have you seen it?
I mean, I typed it in Google, and there's just like the first 3 things are videos like another globehead theory debunked.
Eddie Bravo pissed off.
Dude, I fucking love those people now. I used to get upset at them. Now I love them. My parents were globeheads, not anymore.
Oh my God.
They burned the house down because the parents think the world is round. This is the meme. It's a child standing in front with a smile, standing in front of a burning house. It says, my parents were globeheads, not anymore. Like, so this is my point, is it's the same thing. It's all the same kind of mental illness that drags you into this group hook, line, and sinker if the group doesn't make any sense. If it's, you know, vegan bloggers trying to take out other vegan bloggers, or whether it's this idea that the world is round and that the people who think the world is round should have their houses burnt down. Little kids should be smiling even though it's their parents. They're like, what? This is so crazy.
What's like? I haven't talked to too many flat earthers, but like, but my, you know, Kevin Pereira, he attached a GoPro camera to a weather balloon one time or a few times, and when it goes up to a certain point, it's a round Earth that the camera's showing.
Kevin Pereira is a globalist shill. You don't know shit, man.
Eddie does believe in that, right? Like,
he says he doesn't. Well, he doesn't say he does. He doesn't know about that one. He keeps an open mind with everything.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think he's actually saying it. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not saying it to me. But I think it's fun for people too. I think there's that. it's fun to think that they're right. It's fun to think, and it's fun to say you don't know, and you're right, I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. That's the reality. I mean, that's one thing that, like, if you're talking to flat Earth people and you say, why are you so confident that the world is round? Like, you got a good point. I'm not doing any experiments. I've never really looked at the data. I've looked at all those satellite images, though, and I would assume that all those people who are making maps and flying transcontinental flights, pilots, people who make satellites, people who've actually been to space, I would assume they're not all in cahoots. I mean, but I don't know. Might be the biggest hoax of all time.
Jesus.
Could you imagine if we're really living in some, like, what was that Jim Carrey movie?
Truman Show.
Truman Show, yes. If we're really living in some bizarre simulation and we are in a dome and we've been just tricked with some fake numbers and science and images.
I continue to think that more and more to the point where that's my religion, where people, or that's my flat earth. It's getting so weird the older you get how much I believe in that kind of shit now.
Like a simulation type thing?
Stuff.
I think we probably have a deeper connection that we can't measure. And that's one of the reasons why it seems like things could be fake. I think we have a connection that's changing, too. I think our connection with our reality, not just because of information and technology that allows you to call each other and stuff like that, I think the information that we're getting is allowing us to, like, almost like go through the world in a different way. And things are syncing up more and more with a lot of people. I hear that all the time. It sounds like total horseshit, though. But I wonder, what is the placebo effect, right? What is that?
Tricking your brain into something that's not there, right?
Yeah, well, you trick your body into thinking that it took medicine and your body heals itself, right? Mm-hmm. What the fuck is that? So there's some tricks. There's some tricks.
It doesn't even happen with, like, medicine. Music and wearing certain uniforms, like, get you pumped up for sports and shit.
Totally.
So, like,
music's a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
There's songs that I hear when I'm working out and I fucking work out harder. Mm-hmm. Like, they give me, like, more pep, more energy. And then there's a lot of fucking movies that do that too, right? Like, I saw Rocky when I was a little kid. I ran around the block. I drank raw eggs. I did the whole thing. Because I was just like, was so pumped up. That movie literally gives you energy.
I think every kid ate raw eggs when that movie came out. I remember doing it with my friend.
Fuck yeah.
And then there's glitches in the simulation, like, like deja vu, and then or when you're walking down a sidewalk, and you know how you just people walking next to you, like no big thing, but then there's that one guy where you try to go left, he's going left, you're going right, and you're just like, why didn't we just sync up here? Like, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah, it's the randomness of it all, man.
It made me think of this. I just saw this article recently came out. There's a study about why music gives you goosebumps. Some scientists studied 10 people that claim that they get chills when they hear certain songs or certain things happen and whatnot.
What does it say?
So they did brain scans on them, and what they found out is that their auditory cortex, which is, or they have fibers in their auditory cortex that are stronger, I guess, whatever that stronger is, than people who don't feel that, which leads to stronger emotion reactions. So they think that it can be used to treat people with depression, to get them to bring up feelings that they might not be able to access otherwise. It's obviously just a new study, and it's lots of theory and whatnot, but
well, it's interesting. Right, like, what is it? Here's another interesting way to look at it. What is it about a song that gets you like that gives you that energy? And part of it is like the novelty of hearing the song. Not meaning that you don't want to know what the song is about, but you can't hear it too many times, or it loses its impact. You know? Like, after a while, a song becomes, like, flat if you hear it too many times in a row.
I've tried to notice when it happens to me, and it more often than not is from a live performance, and I think I'm feeling the emotion the person singing it has a little bit, and I've noticed it's more often like on a real live or that person's first time on TV.
Yeah.
One of those kinds of things. It happens more than just, like, listening to the radio or...
It could probably get annoying, too, if you heard it over and over and over again.
Radio kills music.
Oh, for a lot of... Yeah, do you remember back in the day when you would hear a song over and over again on the radio? And you'd be like, what the fuck, this song again? And you actually get annoyed?
If you go to any local radio station, turn on a Rocks channel, you know you're going to hear like one of 3 songs in an hour at least. Like one Metallica song, like Enter Sandman's going to come on once.
Yeah, has to come on.
Well, mandatory Metallica, you have to.
Yeah. No shit, right? Boy, that's a fucking tough gig because those guys, like, the DJs never got, like, the freedom anymore to go loose. They're just to roll up with a bunch of records to start playing some shit that they like. That's what they used to do, right? Correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
But they always had program managers, right? So the program manager would influence what they would put on.
A little bit, for sure.
Dude, I remember when they would play a record. You could hear the record skip sometimes. Like sometimes it would skip though, and they would have to like go back and like, we're sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Like some fucking dude is not paying attention and he's off in the restroom or something like that, or getting a cup of coffee while the song's playing, and he doesn't realize that it's been skipping. That happened all the time back in the day.
There's a local DJ here in Los Angeles that does that. He plays records, and he's like a real DJ. He's like one of the last guys. I think. I mean, it's been like a year since I've listened to the radio, but he used to be really cool, and you could hear the static of the record, and it was cool. I don't remember what channel that was.
Do you remember that Christian Slater movie where Christian Slater was
Pump up the volume?
He had like a pirate radio station. They were trying to get him. The government was chasing him. It was very almost like Smokey and the Bandit-esque. It was so stupid. The way they're chasing him, like they're trying to get him because he's broadcasting and you can't do that. And like, you know, it's like he's wild and he's good looking and, you know, he's rebellious.
Wasn't he supposed to be in high school too?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he was,
something like that.
That was the weird
like
part.
30 years
That was one of
old.
my favorite movies growing up. I don't know what you're talking about. That was a great movie.
It was a great movie. Dude, at the time, it was a great movie, for sure. Well, I'm just saying, like, how weird was it, like, back then, if you had, like, a pirate radio station, you were a rebel, and people would be out there in the woods listening. He's like, hey, if you're hearing me out there, you're still alive. And if you're still alive, you could still kick some ass. You know, like, he'd be giving these fucking corny pump 'em up speeches to all the young kids. They'd be like, yeah, we gotta rise against. Like, all the old people were retarded. None of the old people made any sense. It was the young people that knew that everything was wrong in the system, man.
It's like pre-internet, man.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he had a cordless phone, though.
That's cool. I like Christian Slater. Big fan.
Yeah, that was pre-internet, man.
Yeah.
That was pre-fucking internet.
I forget the movie I watched the other day, and there was no internet, and there was no cell phones, and you forgot. There's like a part of you forgets that, like, because there's like so many scenes where the guy's like, I need to contact Mary, I need to find her,
right?
And then you're like, why don't you just pull out your cell phone, asshole?
Right.
And you're like, oh wait, there is no cell phones here.
Yeah, when you need to find someone, you had to go look for them. You had to like run around and yell. People would yell a lot. Bobby!
Call places.
Dude, Italians, I remember very clearly when I was a kid, especially like in like the real Italian neighborhoods on the East Coast, people would scream out for people in the street. They would just scream, Donnie! Hey, Donnie! They would just be yelling at the top of their lungs. It was so crazy. People always did that. And then people got answering machines. That was a big one. Do you remember answering machines?
Yeah, I still have one of mine. I would love to hear the messages on that.
Those were crazy.
And you always had to have like the best like outgoing message. So like you put some music behind it, or you pick like a favorite Saturday Night Live skit in the back, or
or like if you're real creative, you had like Tony Montana. Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, mine was the Cheech and Chong parrot at one time. The one that's like hello, hello, or whatever. I forget that.
Yeah, there was always a lot of people trying real hard to be creative. That was like your first social media profile.
Yeah. Ooh, wow.
Damn.
It was.
Then it turned into like the instant messenger away message, which is
yeah.
almost a status update.
And then it was the grossest thing ever invented, ringback tones. You remember the Verizon ringback tones?
Yeah. Yeah, you used to call people up. Sometimes you still call people up and they'll play a song.
Yeah. Oh, I guess they still have it probably. Why wouldn't
Dana Wright used to have King of Rock. You call him, I'm the King of Rock. There is none higher.
My favorite is when you had...
That's a good move.
You had for like a year.
Somebody, Run DMC.
You had for a year, I Am Beautiful.
Oh, that beautiful song. Christina Aguilera. No matter what they say, words can't bring me down. Oh, no.
And we would just be in like a normal conversation with like adults, and then suddenly that thing would just blare out.
I always
It's
love
fun
that
shit.
song. Good tune.
It's a good song.
I like sometimes I like things, and I don't like that I feel pressure to not like them. You know, I'm like, why? How come I can't like that song? It's a beautiful song. Is it too girly? Is that what it is? Is that what's going on? A lot of prejudice.
Yeah, that's how I feel with Taylor Swift. I was blaring her new song the other day, and I
go,
was at a
boy.
red light, and I was like, God damn it, I got to roll up my windows.
You go, boy. Sing that shit. Who gives a fuck? It's weird. You got to be scared to sing things out.
I was playing that one Sia song in here after you left one day, and you came back in like, what
You
the fuck are you
panicked?
doing? I was like, that
panicked.
song's tight. It's awesome.
It's tight.
Tight.
It's new. It's hot.
Hashtag
That
Black
hot
Twitter.
shit.
It's the hot shit. Yeah, man. I like a lot of shit that I probably shouldn't like.
What's your biggest, latest, guiltiest, pleasurist?
I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I like her music. I like
So your Team Taylor?
I
not-
like Justin Bieber. I like his voice. He's got a beautiful voice.
Oh, it's so bad.
A couple of his songs are all right.
That kid can sing his fucking ass off.
I heard some people
If you're
are,
into that kind of music,
they're
that's-
upset right now because Justin Timberlake is rumored, or he's going to be doing vocals on the new Foo Fighters album. But he's just doing like some background. You won't even know it's him, but his name made it out in a blog post or something.
listen, that guy's not going to do. This is Timberlake?
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, he's
he's
the
not
man.
going to do anything stupid.
No kidding.
If he does do that, he's going to smash it. He wouldn't do it if he didn't think he could smash it.
Of course.
Yeah, he'll just smash it.
Yeah, he's great. I don't know why
Yeah.
people shit on him. He's like one of the best, most talented people
Too
ever.
handsome, too tall, too pretty,
Insane.
too rich. He dances around. He's too good at dancing. Don't like it. Do not like it. Yeah, guys don't like some handsome fellow who dances real good and sings his ass off. Fuck that. So people are hating. He just gets all the poison. He dances. Fucking dancer. Can't like dancing too much if you're a dude.
Yeah.
But it's that same thing. The same reason why you're not supposed to like that I Am Beautiful song. It's a goddamn beautiful song. But, you know, people prefer you to be like, you know, Enter Sandman. Dun, 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 dun. Which is great, too. It's a balance in this life, right? You want a little Ozzy Osbourne. Every now and then you want a little Sheryl Crow. I like a little Sheryl Crow.
Yeah. I'm Hall & Oates all day. I can't get
Dude.
enough of Hall & Oates.
I can't go for that. Get it? I got you. I
son
got
of a
you with
bitch.
one of your own. I can't go for that. No. No can do. Hall & Oates, old school, son.
Oh yeah. And if you want to hear one of the best versions, like there's a band called Bird and the Bee. They're a local band, a woman singer, and they covered all the greatest hits. And man, her voice is so amazing. And she just brought like life to like those old songs. Like I can't.
What's her name?
It's called Bird and the Bee,
Bird and the Bee.
and it's Hall & Oates greatest hits or something like
Wow.
that. I highly recommend that. It's on Spotify.
Damn, son. Yeah. They were great. There was a lot of those bands. That was like 70s music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that 70s?
70s,
Hall &
80s,
Oates?
kind of 80s-ish, more 80s.
Remember Maneater? Whoa, here she comes. Watch out, boy. She'll chew you up.
Oh, here
She's a man-eater.
She's a man.
Yeah, they are. Whenever you can get that sultry side look. Listen, bitch, you knew the camera was on. Why are you looking at me sideways?
He
Look
does- he
right at me. That's a weird look, bro. You gonna hit me? Hey, let's work this out. Don't hit me. That's like a dude who's hauling back with his right hand about to punch you. Why are you looking at me like this?
Sexy.
Like look at me. Look at me, Brian.
Oh God.
That's not even as extreme as what
I
he's
see
doing.
it. I see
He's
it.
doing it more like
That's
this.
tight.
That's like you might be able to take my back, bro.
I love how the fashion is now the fashion that we are dealing with right now.
It's coming back, son.
Yeah, that looks like Josh Martin on the left there wearing his little leopard shirt.
Yeah, Josh Martin is like the pinnacle of fashion for these
he
young
is.
kids.
He
He's
is.
my litmus test. I find out what's going on in the world. I'm like, are those the new Yeezys? He goes, yeah. I go, yuck.
I hate those Yeezys.
I don't get it.
Hey,
You still into those stupid things?
Loves them.
I have enough of them. I will say that.
You don't
They need to change it up a little bit. They've been
Jesus,
running
man.
this model down for 3 years.
One
now.
day, history will not be kind to you.
Yeah. You know, all he did is he went to Korea and found one designer, and he's like, "Hey, I want that."
He also spent whatever. I don't want to get into all this, but he
Okay.
spent some time working as an intern.
Yeah, I
and
don't.
doing
I
all
don't
that
think
shit,
you
but-
should deny what he's accomplished when it comes to Mr. Yeezy. I just don't enjoy what they look like.
I don't like his tilted stage.
I just don't like what they look like.
They're comfortable as all hell.
I bet they are.
So
I bet they are.
It's half of what it's about.
Maybe not. If it is
how
half of what it's
comfortable they
about,
are?
yeah, I think half
your
of it is
shoes
about
feel
to
like?
have Yeezys.
Well, you mean the Yeezys? Yeah.
Half of
yeah.
it is
oh, that's
the
like
name.
95% of the
95?
Yeezy shit. Yeah.
95. Okay.
There's more comfortable shoes out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's also like a Rolex. Why would you get a Rolex when you could have a movement watch? You know what I mean? Or
Totally.
any other watch. It's a $25,000 watch or
Right.
a $200 watch. You know?
Exactly.
It still tells time.
It's some sort of arm candy. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a
foot candy.
bracelet.
Same shit.
Yeah.
Jewelry.
Yeah, it's jewelry. It's watch jewelry. Like those watches that Floyd Mayweather has. Those crazy watches. And that $500,000 watch that he had. That's arm jewelry. That's not really a watch. Like you're not trying to. This watch costs like $150.
That's a cool watch. What kind is
It's
that?
Casio.
Casio.
What about
It's a good watch.
Every time I wear a watch, I just
Prince.
Wow.
What?
Freddie Mercury little arm bracelet?
I'm sorry.
Deal. I was pulling this up. I just saw.
What
something.
is it?
This is the new guy that's going to play Freddie Mercury in the biopic. This is the guy from Mr. Robot, that
Oh, wow.
USA show.
Damn.
Rami Malek.
oh my god, it is him.
He looks amazing.
Yeah,
It's great.
looks just like him.
That song, Dragon Attack, the Queen song, Dragon Attack. You know that song? That's my freeze song. That's my song when I go into freeze. I just listen to Dragon Attack.
Have you made yourself to the max, gotten to your max, like you're not allowed to go any longer in the freeze thing? Is that how it
They
starts?
don't really like you going in more than 3 minutes.
Right.
3 minutes is pretty much the max. So I go in 3 minutes, then I wait out for 10 minutes, and then I go in for another 3
Damn,
minutes.
animal.
Dude, it feels good. You get out of there, you feel so good.
Like when you pee, does it come out like a slushy? Is it a little icy or something different?
No,
Does it do
feels
anything
normal.
different?
No, all it does is it makes your body produce a lot of anti-inflammatories, like cold shock proteins. They're called cytokines. Your body produces them when it freaks the fuck out and thinks it's going to die.
It's
Because
gotten
it's so
popular.
cold. Oh, dude, if you feel amazing, it really feels amazing when you come out of there. Like you feel like Dr. Rhonda Patrick explained it scientifically when she did a podcast about it, and she was talking about the increased anti-inflammatory markers in the blood, I think it was, and the other thing was that your norepinephrine, I think that's how you say it, brain chemicals spike. And it's a lot of it is just dealing with the fact that your body's been thrust into this insane environment. Like I guess there's a way. I mean, it's like, we were talking about the placebo effect, right? Like there's a way through just thinking about something, you can get your mind to operate in a way where it fixes your body, right? And that there's sort of something similar to in this respect, that like your brain and your thoughts, for something like a placebo effect or something like really trying to figure out how you interface with stuff. I really do think that there's more to like how we go, like this idea that like there's a simulation theory that you keep bringing up, a lot of people keep bringing up. I think we interface with reality different than we ever did before, just slightly different, just slightly. I think that like all the different ways you can hack your system, whether it's through like cold shock proteins from doing that, or heat shock proteins from doing a sauna, or even placebo effects. Like it might be good to get tricked. It might be like that's like probably like half of the reason why religion does a lot of people good. Because if you fucking believe, if you really believe that Jesus is real, and you read all the tenets of the Bible and you go, wow, this is fucking, what a great way to live your life. Like, whoa, you get almost like a bit of a placebo effect. And you could say, look, it works. It's real. And it's like the same way you could say sugar pills are real, right? If you give a guy a placebo sugar pill, it does nothing really, but all of a sudden it fixes whatever ailment he had. It's all connected, man. We can do shit with our brains, and we can do shit with our bodies. And that Wim Hof guy's living proof of that. You ever pay attention to him?
No.
Dude, I've had him on a couple times. You got to check out his shit. This guy does marathons in his underwear. He does. He runs to the top of Everest in a pair of shorts with ice like flip flops on. He has like sandals on. I'm not bullshitting.
What the fuck?
Summits Everest. He says it's easy.
Wow.
Yeah, he does like he runs barefoot in the snow. He does marathons, and all just by controlling his breathing and controlling his mind. He's a real freak, man. Fascinating cat. Was like a yoga teacher most of his life. went through a bunch of hardships and really started realizing that by jumping in cold water and controlling his breathing, like he really sort of changed his reality. And he does it all the time. This guy goes into glacial waters.
So wait, isn't like frostbite and like physical things real? Like,
yeah, I think it is, but I think your body, first of all, develops tolerances for stuff. And I noticed that just from doing the cryo chamber. Like if I don't do it for a few, look at him out there doing yoga barefoot in the snow on the top of a fucking mountain. Is there a more badass photo ever taken? Look at that.
it's pretty sweet.
That's amazing.
But like, what about hyperthermia and all that crap?
This
He's
is what
just
I'm saying.
he can
I think
control
your
his
body. I think your body adapts, because when you do, if you do like cryotherapy and you've never done it before, the first time you do it, you're like, holy shit! Like the first time they do it, they won't let you do more than a minute and a half. They want you to go, oh my god, like what is this? And if you take some time off and you get back in there, like if you haven't gone in a few months, and then you go back in there, you do feel way cold. But if I go like 3 days in a row, I can just get right in there and stand there. And it doesn't even freak me out. It doesn't, I'm just used to it. I know what it is. My body's adapted to it. My body's accustomed to it. Now imagine like how people live that are living in like Northeast Alaska, or you know, like living in places where they hunt seals and shit. The Inuits. They don't even get frostbite, man. Like their hands can be out and exposed in ridiculous cold. They just don't. They don't get the same sort of issues with it that we do. Like their bodies have adapted.
It's weird.
Fuck. I think your mind can make your body do a lot of shit it doesn't want to do, and your mind can do it by forcing yourself into extreme physical conditions, like a cryo chamber or like a sauna. Sauna is amazing for you, apparently. What that Rhonda Patrick lady was saying, Dr. Rhonda Patrick was saying, was that there is a 40% decrease in mortality across all causes, from everything that gets like heart attacks, strokes, cancer. 40% decrease in mortality across everything, just from doing sauna like 4 times a week. Apparently, it's just fucking phenomenal for your body. Just sit there and just heat up. And it just fires your system up. You know, all those heat shock proteins, they just act as an anti-inflammatory for your body. Your joints feel better. Things move better. So just you get out of there, too, and you cool off and you feel way better. It's just, I think there's a bunch of resources like that we don't take advantage of enough. And I think everybody should be sauning all the time.
I'm just traumatized from being a child and going with my dad and seeing all those dicks and balls every day.
Yeah, you shouldn't have looked. He told you not to look. You shouldn't have looked. You know, I think there's a lot of negative connotation towards sauna in MMA, because a lot of people think of a sauna as like a place where people go to cut weight, like a real painful process to cut weight so they can make a weight class. Which is true, they do use it for that, but that's not the only use for the sauna. Like, you shouldn't just be using the sauna for that. You should be using the sauna for health. We should use it all the time. I think it's a gigantic, important step in like body maintenance. It's like a bunch of shit you have to do for body maintenance. I think that's one.
Has there been any news updates on the John Jones situation?
No, I haven't heard nothing.
That's so disappointing.
So makes me sad.
Redban insights on this one?
Yeah, that's right. You called the dick pills. Bro, I would just like to say for the record, Brian Redban completely called the dick pill thing. If I paraphrase, you were like, let me say, he parties, he does coke, he probably took some dick pills. And I was like, what? Jesus Christ, it made so much sense. It was like, how it was there right along the whole time.
I just remember the FDA.gov had breakdowns of certain like Rhino dick pills at gas stations, and a lot of them had steroid type things in them.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up.
He's so crazy. He was taking that stuff.
He's probably still taking them.
Well, now I bet he would. I mean, now he's like, fuck it, I'll just take everything.
You could get addicted to him. I was addicted to him for a while. I don't know why.
I don't think he's addicted to it. The new thing that he tested positive for has nothing to do with that. They said that the new thing that he tested positive for is a steroid that they only test for in urine. And according to Chael Sonnen, it's like it's not a very common steroid, and it's actually kind of old school. It's like something they used to do a long time ago. So his thought was that if somebody is getting him to do that if that's not a tainted supplement, if someone's getting him to do that, that person knows their shit. Like that's some sneaky steroids.
Wow.
Yeah, and he said it's usually combined with other things.
Sounds so unfortunate, man.
I don't know if it's true.
Right.
He could have got sabotaged.
What's he saying? Is he saying
No one's saying anything. There's no official statement, I don't think. Like, because I think they're trying to test other samples. They tested a blood sample, and then they released the results of the blood sample. They always do a blood and a urine. The blood sample was negative, but the blood sample didn't test for that stuff. So I don't, you could speculate all day long. I'm sure as the facts come in, we'll get a better understanding of it. But it would be the most disappointing thing ever if someone spiked his shit. It'd almost be less disappointing if he took something and got caught than it would be if somebody tainted him.
That's why I'm saying like he knows his past. It just seems ridiculous to think that he would even try, even if it's old school or stuff they barely tested. Like, it seems like why would he even risk that? Because he already went through that.
You're totally right, but being a cage fighter is a ridiculous way to make a living. Yeah. And people who are cage fighters, especially like elite level, like a guy like John Jones, that guy has like probably a belief in himself that you and I will never understand, and completely impulsive in like what he decides. So he's a wild motherfucker. That's why he's so good, because he's smart and he's wild. Like he's like legitimately wild. Takes wild chances. Like I always talk about like when he fought Shogun for the title. He opened up the fight with a flying knee. That was the first thing he did. Fighting a legend, fighting a UFC light heavyweight champion. I mean, he was crazy talented and still is, right? I mean, he's only 30, but he's a wild man, and wild men sometimes do shit that they don't even know why they're doing it. They're just doing it, And if you're a guy that's that powerful as a guy like John Jones, like try controlling him. Good luck. Good luck telling him he can't go out. Good luck telling him what he's got to do. It's one of the things about him in the past is that he hasn't trained hard for fights. And they were way harder fights than they should have been probably because he really wasn't in shape. And everyone around him kind of knew it, but he was that good that he could fight world-class title challengers and beat them in 5-round fights without really training. Like, that's how goddamn good that guy is. So you and I, we don't know how his brain even works. So who knows what the fuck happened? I hope he didn't do something, but then again, that means that one of two things happened. Either he took a tainted supplement, which is after a while almost becomes a joke.
Right.
Like people keep saying that. Hey, stop taking supplements. Or even worse, that someone spiked him.
Yeah, the spiking thing, because it would seem like
that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. You could do that to somebody, though, for sure. I mean, if somebody is around someone with nefarious intentions, or someone's around someone who's resentful, and you're in some sort of pro-fight camp, and someone just decides, fuck this guy, and just dump some stuff on your chicken.
Steroid cream in your hand cream?
I think there's things they could do to get it into your system. You probably wouldn't even know what
the test that came up positive, I guess, is the one that happened, right? It was after the weigh-in, right?
Yes. It's a urine test.
He wasn't tested at any time before that?
I'm sure he was. They were tested multiple times in camp.
So wouldn't it have probably come up then?
Not necessarily.
Or he just took
because it's really like, well, if I don't know like what kind of time period they tested him in, and I don't know what kind of half-life this stuff has, because apparently Chael Sonnen was telling Brendan Schaub that it gets out of your system quite quick, and that's one of the things that guys like about it. Apparently, that you could do it and it gets out of your system really quick. You would have to find out like how much time do they usually have in between visits by USADA, and what are the odds they're going to get busted? Like how many times during camp are they willing to roll the dice? Say if they have a 24 or 48 hour acting steroid, how many times can you roll the dice? USADA visited you 3 times. You got to roll the dice this week? Roll it. Come on, I want to have a hard workout Thursday. Fuck it, let's roll the dice. You roll the dice. 27 hours, no USADA. 28, you wake up in the middle of the night sweating. 30 hours, no USADA. You know if they come, your fucking career's over, and they take away millions of dollars. 40 hours, whew, you're peeing. No USADA. The next day, USADA. You start thinking, 52 hours? How many is that? How many hours is that? How many has it been? 48, 49, 50, 51, 53 hours. 53 hours. It's got to be gone, right? It's got to all be gone. And you give them that piss, just wondering whether it's in there.
And I'm sure there's stuff that you can take that supposedly washes it out faster, like any kind of drug test. You know, like weed tests, I remember, I think it was like cranberry juice or something you just constantly drank.
There's certain diuretics for sure. Certain diuretics can mask steroids. It's one of the reasons why they're illegal.
I'm looking at this article that came out about an hour ago, it looks like, on Bloody Elbow. That's not like any updated news or anything really. It's a PED expert who's known in the track and field world as known for supplying performance-enhancing drugs to them. His name is Angel Hernandez, also known as Memo. Not that that matters a whole lot, but if anybody knows him.
What Angel Heredia Hernandez.
Yeah.
But Angel Heredia, is that the same guy that used to train Manny Pacquiao?
I don't know.
Or no? Or is it who the fuck did? There was a guy that was like a really popular. God damn it! I know I got his name wrong.
But
strength and conditioning coach.
He's saying that the test that they do tests for 6 different particular metabolites, and one of those can last up to 7 weeks. And then I skip down to here. He says that one of those metabolites can look like the same structure as the Turinabol. And it may or may not. It doesn't mean that it's not Turinabol or whatever, but it could be from a bad supplement that he took during the training period that lasted in his system and ended up looking like it.
Ooh, interesting.
But that's
Listen to this quote. Listen to this quote. If he would have been using way before then, he eventually would have been positive on the 21-day testing before the fight, but he was negative. Then he came out positive. Frankly, the testing itself, it lacks of credibility for a lot of reasons. We could go on, and I could be very specific in terms of chemistry, but I don't want to mislead the people that listen. It's just the fact that they are detecting 6 different metabolites, and one of them stays there longer than 7 weeks. But the most intriguing part is that some of those metabolites are not really confirmed that they are actually coming from that, how do you say that? Turinabol? Turinabol structure. All right, but USADA, who's doing this, they know what the fuck they're doing, and they're not going to come out with a result unless they're super sure that that's what they're tested positive for. I don't know if this guy's right.
That's what I don't know either. He's just sort of speculating, I would imagine. I don't know if he wasn't there either. But
I tell you, I talked to Jeff Nowitzki off stage, off mic, on mic. I talked to him around the arena. He's about as honest as it comes when it comes to like handling these situations with these athletes. They're catching people, and the people they're catching we're using. There's, the way they're doing it is very thorough. The way they're handling it is very thorough, and there hasn't been anybody with a credible story that came forth that didn't have something in their system that they were supposed to have in their system. We haven't had a case of that yet, as far as I know. I think almost all cases have been either tainted supplements or someone getting caught, whether it's taking a diuretic or someone getting caught taking a steroid. There's a lot going on like that, and he's got, they have a team of people that are just constantly checking people that might be cheating.
I guess you have to also say it's where there's smoke, there's fire. How many fighters never have a steroid, in them,
There's a few, like BJ Penn. I'm sure there's, I used to think it would be John Fitch, but then John Fitch tested positive. He was, but he was getting older, and he was fighting in the World Series of Fighting. Wasn't in the UFC anymore, and and he might have been dealing with some serious injuries. Needed to pay his bills through fighting. Like, I don't begrudge anybody, especially when they're not even in the UFC. And the testing that they do in a lot of these organizations is like, there's a lot of organizations that have guys that are pretty much openly using. And what they do is they have these guys fight on like Indian reservations or fighting weird states that have an athletic commission that doesn't really adhere to the rules, or doesn't have to, and it's not very strict. But especially the Indian reservation thing, Native American reservations, they do whatever the fuck they want, man. They're a country inside our country. But USADA, they look up your ass, man. They look up your ass. They come get you. They come get you, and they wake you up. Hey, man. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm going to look at your dick, and I'm going to watch piss come out of your dick, and it's going to go in this cup, and then you can go back to sleep. It's no joke. And to see a guy like John with just spectacular comeback fight. Like a phoenix, he rises from the ashes. He gave this really classy post-fight speech. He won by just overwhelming devastation. I mean, it was a beautiful combination with the left high kick, then a series of shots. Daniel goes down. He just beats him unconscious in a spectacular performance. And then to find out that it's tainted by some fucking gross steroid. They were sneaking in. It's either that or, again, the other one, which is almost equally gross, that somebody gave it to him. Like somebody gave him some, hey, man, hey, champ, have this Gatorade, champ. You know, hey, champ, I got you a Gatorade, champ. Crack. You know,
and they're very accessible, these fighters. You know, they're they're just going to the gyms like you go to a lot of times.
Hey, man, if you're not fighting John, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. People love him. I think that we don't know. You know, it just makes me sad. It makes me sad. But one day, you know, they'll have it eradicated. But by then, I think there's going to be some new methods. I think they're going to have genetic methods. That's the next one. They're not pretty close, but they're pretty close to being able to alter embryos and to be able to change like genes in people, maybe even shut off dangerous genes, like genes for Alzheimer's and different diseases that people have. They might be able to literally create the tools to edit that in the embryonic stage. This is something called CRISPR. And that's one of the things that they're using to alter genes. It's like CRISPR, I think it is.
Did you see the video of someone used it to make like neon green beer or something like that?
They use CRISPR to make neon green beer? Yeah. What did they use? Like, I'll pull it up real quick. So they did something to the wheat?
Awesome. they made a new color chocolate. The first time in like 100 years they made a new chocolate.
Oh, we're fucking around with nature. Yeah. God. That's why Hurricane Irma is going to eat Florida.
They also recently took the West Nile virus and pumped it into rats, and it killed cancer, which is crazy. So you're taking one crazy thing and killing another crazy thing with it.
What? Yeah. The West Nile virus cures cancer?
Yeah. Well, in mice or whatever. But
yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of shit that we eat that animals can't even touch or they die. This biohacker, what does it say again? Sorry. Wants to spur a genetic engineering revolution with glowing beer.
Oh, that seems healthy. Like I'm worried about aspartame.
Genetically engineered yeast.
Imagine how bad your pee smells. Like think about how bad your pee smells when you or you eat asparagus. Cutting edge genetic engineering technique, CRISPR. Yeah. Wow. That's how they did it. That's insane. That's insane.
He sells the kits too, apparently.
That is so crazy. You can buy a kit to genetically engineer through CRISPR your wheat to glow.
It's pretty badass.
That's insane.
It's got to be bad for you.
It's totally got to be bad for you, or good. I'm waiting for one of these fucking problems that we have to turn us into superheroes, because that was what we always saw in the comic books, right? Every time there was a nuclear spill, dude came out of it with X-ray vision. Right?
But the government also immediately found the guy and took him and hit him and did tests on him so the public wouldn't be scared.
Tried to, bro. Well, tried to. Most of the time they were free.
It already happened. Autism. Now they're like some of the best like Navy coders. And
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's without a doubt some super genius people with autism. Mm-hmm. And then there's people that are on that spectrum, you know, autism and also Asperger's and a lot of different disorders that allows them to like focus on stuff with laser like precision. Their brains work different. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of thought to that. That's like the next style of person, that like we're so connected to our devices and to the internet and to this, like we're gonna like lose our interaction with each other and lose our emotions, and then it might manifest itself through a series of like weird errors, like a disease or a disorder, and that disorder becomes favorable. And that favorable disorder of just not really getting attached to things, just focusing on your work like a drone, like some sort of crazy robot, number crunching robot. Like it's 100% possible that we know there are some people like that, right? So if there are some people that are just super genius coders, that just zone out and can code like crazy and they're kind of on the spectrum, if there's one of those, there could be 1,000. If there's 1,000, there could be 1,000,000. If there's 1,000,000, they could start breeding and making a bunch of other ones like that. And maybe it's something you pass on in your genes. Maybe we pass on more in our genes than we know. Next thing you know, you got robot people. Like, we slowly but surely integrate with our chips and fucking different, Qualcomm chips in your brain. Your phone is now a part of your body. Robot people with abilities to call each other and connect online. And, like, what if nature's trying to engineer our humanness out of us, slowly morph it, change it, make it more compatible to staying in front of computer screens constantly, crunching numbers?
People's hands start growing different because everyone's holding cell phones their whole life.
Dude.
Their eyes get farther apart, like Chance the Rapper.
You know what fascinates me? When people have autistic kids, then the kids show massive improvement from a change of diet or from cannabis oil for a lot of kids is a massive improvement, stops their seizures, makes them start interacting with other kids better. Wonder if that is what, I don't think they know like a specific cause for autism or any of the spectrum disorders, right?
No. I mean, I always just blame cell phones and Wi-Fi.
I've also heard, man, that could be, right? I've also heard gut bacteria be blamed for a bunch of them.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, they were saying that a lack of probiotics in the diet, poor gut bacteria, could be blamed for certain issues and disorders that some people have.
I found neurons in the gut, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes,
Yeah.
I mean, if those two things are true, that makes sense.
Well, if your gut bacteria is essentially like a community, right? You have like a community of flora inside your stomach, and the more bad stuff you put in there, and then it also, like, other people would be way more susceptible than some. Like, just like today, there's people that can eat things and maybe have mild allergies. And then there's someone like you or I that could eat the exact same thing and have no issue with it whatsoever. That's got to be the same with gut flora. It's got to be the same with we're so biologically variable. But just imagine if that's just a step in a long process of people. I mean, like, you look at, like, super genius autistic people. As far as we know, I mean, they might have existed hundreds of years ago, but we don't know of them, right? We're just guessing. This is a fairly recent thing. What if it becomes something even different in 100 years from now? What if it's these people that know how to read each other's minds, and only they can do it? And they can all read each other's minds. They can probably read our minds, but we can never read theirs. And they're just talking to each other. And we're like, hey, what are you talking about? What are you guys talking about? Like, we're going to be left behind. Like, our stupid genes, we're going to be left behind. And these people what if, like, war just stops because autistic people just have no desire to go to war? They're like, no, just rather sit around here and code.
Yeah.
Or whatever the next stage is. Like, if autism or Asperger's or any of these things are a new thing, I don't know if they are, but if they are a new thing, just imagine what another new thing could be that takes it to another place and a next level.
People that don't keep their VR helmets on all the time. Like, you're living the real world? What's wrong with you?
But you got to think, man, if evolution is true, and I'm assuming it is, we used to be super primitive, right? We used to be some sort of primitive primate thing. And then there was a bunch of different versions of us, and we branched out, and we were the most successful, and we made it to today. So that means we changed. So why would we assume we're done? That's crazy. We're getting more input now than ever before, and we're assuming we're done? We're not even the same people from the 1950s. We're not. We're totally different.
I wonder if our brains are going to start using more because we are...
Or less.
Or less. But, I mean, we're pretty much like, we're using our brains way more than we were 20 years ago. 20 years ago, instead of, like, researching and reading and, like, reading pretty much, we were just probably sitting there looking at colors, or something.
It would have been way easier back then to be a con man.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody could do any research on you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was
from town to
raising
town and all that, right?
raising a Buddhist monster. Eddie had the greatest fucking story about that. Eddie Bravo was taking karate or kung fu from this dude that said he had to go to China to learn from some kung fu masters. And Eddie was like so proud. He's like, wow, my instructor is like one of the greatest instructors in the world. He's going to go to China, learn from some kung fu master. And then he saw him at like a supermarket or some shit. The dude's car was like parked in front.
In Chinatown.
He's like, that can't be him. He got in the car, he drove off. It's like, what the fuck? I thought that dude was in China. He just totally lied. Not only did he lie, but he was so stupid he stayed around the neighborhood.
Wow.
Gonna go on vacation for that.
He just lied to his students and was pretending he was off gathering knowledge from the masters. There was a lot of those guys, man, that had like fake karate classes. They had like fake martial arts schools. They were teaching like nonsense. And they would have this crazy background on the wall, you know, 7-time undefeated Marine Corps and bare knuckle, no holds barred champion. They would make up a bunch of shit. There's a lot of those dudes, man.
My favorite YouTube videos. You know?
Oh my God, so many of them. There's so many of them.
It's like the religious people, like you know, people falling on the ground or getting thrown by the room by the pastor and stuff. It's the same kind of shit.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. But that's like the other side of the placebo effect, right? It's like the other side, like those people when that guy does that thing and they go flying through the air and their body starts shaking. Do you think they feel something? Like, what do you think is going on? Are they just totally faking it?
I think it's dumb people, man. I think it's all dumb people. I think it's low watt brains that just they're easy to trick into believing in anything. I mean, look at half the world. You know?
Yeah, for sure, that's a possibility. But I want to know, like, are they doing it? Are they conscious of what they're doing? Like, are they willfully giving into this because they want the guy to like them? And like he comes up to you and like, oh, and you're like, ah, or are they really feeling it? I mean, are they convincing them? Is it a placebo effect? Are they convincing themselves?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I think like dumb people can really do a lot that we can't even fathom. I mean,
well, it's like we were saying. If you really believe that there is, you know, makeup. It doesn't even have to be Jesus or our gods. I don't want to offend anybody. But if somebody really believed that Odin had carved his path in eternity, and that his destiny was chosen for him by the gods, and he would go forth with that kind of confidence. Like, if you really believe that Odin has carved a path for you to destiny, and you really believe that, like, that's got to be a powerful weapon. Like, just having that belief. There's something to that. Whether it's real or not, it might become real because you think it's real. Like, the placebo effect is just one little sliver of this weird puzzle of managing the mind and managing the way you interface with reality, with people, with life itself, with, you know, different choices that you make. I don't think we understand it 100%. I don't. I think we just assume that, like, physical acts are like all that's going on, you know? Like, he picked up that box, he moved it over there. Like, physical acts are all that's going on. I don't think so, man. I think there's some weird connection that we're all sharing that's getting closer and closer. It's getting weirder and weirder. People are getting shittier and nicer at the same time. It's happening. There's a boiling point. I think people are way nicer than they ever were before. You know what we use as an example? The bro hug. People didn't bro hug back in the day. They shook hands. And we were talking about that new stand-up show on Showtime, I'm Dying Up Here. And one of the things Bill Burr said, he goes, they got the handshake wrong. He was talking about it last night. He goes, they hugged. He goes, nobody hugged back then. He goes, they would do like a low five or something like that. And he's like, I was like, you're right. They didn't hug like that.
They used to they did like the knuckle thing back then, though.
Maybe high fives for sure. I still like a high five. I think high five is silly. It's fun. I like high fiving people. What's up?
I always miss people's high fives. And I feel like an idiot. Like I'm always like
high five to me is like fun. Like high five is fun. Like a handshake, you could just be just cordial and friendly, but this has got some fun to it.
When's the last time you did a low five?
What's that?
Man, I can't even remember because you got to get a low five back. That's the problem with a low five. High five is egalitarian. Everyone's equal. It's just high five. Low five, we have to decide. Well, who's hitting who? Are you hitting me or am I hitting you? You going to hit me first and then I'm going to hit you back? How's this work?
Low five.
Okay, you go first. Ready? Go. Yeah. Slap. Slap. Nobody does that anymore. Slap.
Yeah,
slap.
I haven't done that in a
What's up, bro? What's up? Because people figured out we don't have to do this. We can just do this. It's better. What's up? Like, I feel happy when I give people high fives.
I'm a knuckle guy, man. Just too much pink eye, too much.
Yeah, you got to wash your phone, man. I was reading this thing about cell phones. They were saying they're dirtier than half the toilets of the world.
Oh yeah.
Because you never wash your phone. You touch everything. You're like, God, wash your hands. You're just touching your ass. Meanwhile, you pick up your phone. You're checking your Twitter. You're smudging all kinds of weird fucking biomes all over your screen.
I saw you know, like those butt wipes where they have like the little container where you like pull the butt wipes out, like those things, like you reuse them. Like, but if you think about around the where you're grabbing it, like I need another one. I need another one. I got some on my finger. I need to.
Oh, you're right. For sure that happens.
Yeah.
For sure that happens if you mess up.
Yeah, I just use the packs. I don't even use the box anymore.
And you got to be careful with those things too, because you don't want to get antibacterial butt wipes. Like you don't want to use antibacterial stuff on your body unless it's like natural stuff. Like that. I used to do jujitsu with this dude who got ringworm, and after he got ringworm, he started putting antibacterial soap all over his body, but that killed all of his natural skin flora, and then he got it everywhere. It was crazy.
How much did he use? I mean, because I use the
antibacterial soap, that like hardcore,
not the
shit.
tea tree stuff.
You know, it looks amber. Yeah. Looks like that stuff that they extract the insect DNA out in Jurassic Park. Yeah. That stuff, like it stinks. Like you can smell the chemicals on it. Yeah. Well, that's hand antibacterial soap, and a lot of people like that would get like ringworm or something like that. They would use that on their whole body. But the problem with that stuff is it kills everything. It kills all the stuff that's fighting off the ringworm, too. It kills everything. Just nukes the territory.
Yeah, I use tea tree for all that crap.
Tea tree is the shit.
It is the shit. I just hate the smell.
Eucalyptus oil. There's a company called Defense Soap.
Yeah.
I talk about them all the time.
I love it.
They're not a sponsor, but the guy's awesome. And his stuff is amazing for that. Like keeping healthy skin flora. We just have to think of our bodies, whether it's your gut flora, your skin flora, all that stuff. You got to think of your body as an ecosystem, you know?
Defense soap's really great. I use that all the time. But do you ever use it like for like a jiu-jitsu? Is that what it's made for?
It's made for, well, he made it for grappling, but it's great for just skin.
Right.
It's like, it's just good for your skin. It's not chemically.
Because I use it like as my soap.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I don't know.
do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
I didn't know if I was gonna like.
Yeah, it's not bad for you. It's not bad for you at all. It's good for your skin. That's the thing about it. It's like it's not damaging the healthy stuff. There's no poisons. It's not like antibacterial soaps, or a lot of times it's like really heavy chemicals that are just stripping away everything. You know, bacteria lives on our skin, and a lot of it is good. Apparently, that's like staph all over you all the time. Like when people get an infection, and it's a staph infection, what it is you get an open sore, and then your body, for whatever reason, can't fight off that staph that's already there, that's now getting into your bloodstream, and you get infected, and it swells up and gets nasty. And then there's that MRSA staph, that staph that they get at hospitals because people have been taking antibiotics for so long. They have medication-resistant staph, and it scares the fuck out of people. You have to be on like IV drugs for weeks sometimes. And people are just wrecked by it. Happens to a lot of fighters, man. It's like the silent killer of fight careers is MRSA.
Not with that whole
Kevin Roundaman.
Oh.
Yeah. We don't know if that was MRSA or just untreated staph. I don't know if it was MRSA or just regular staph.
Poor guy.
Yeah, Kevin had he had it bad. I've seen a lot of guys have it bad. I've seen guys with holes. It looks like somebody stabbed them in the leg, and it was just their body was, I think it's called necrophying or something like that. Yeah, when you're necrophying. That's not the word. What is the word?
That's necrophilia, is dead body.
No, yeah, but it's there's a word that when your skin starts becoming dead in certain areas because of a lot of it's like widow bites will do that, brown recluse bites will do that, staph infection will do that too. Yeah,
there's a lot of widows.
Term. Yeah, I forget the term, but it's something necro. It does something to your skin. It just there's a lot of those fucking creepy little bugs that'll do that too, man. Ever seen someone like what it looks like when someone gets bitten by a brown recluse?
No.
Fuck, dude. If you get bitten, if you don't take care of it like really quickly, it can go super bad. Like those things eat through your body.
We sleep in so many hotels and shit. Have you ever had bed bugs? Because that's like
no,
I feel like
I haven't, but you could definitely get it.
I feel like I get bug bites every time.
Yeah,
oh
look
God!
at all those holes. That's all from a brown recluse bite. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Are those in LA or California? No, right?
Yeah, they have some of them in California, but I think they're more in the Midwest.
Oh,
but they definitely have them here. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah.
Wow.
Mostly around there. So it's mostly looks like some Texas and a lot of the South. It's a fucking scary ass bug, man. That's a scary.
See this?
10 sharks found in the home's basement pool. What?
Some guy in New York had 10 sharks that were in a 15-foot above-ground pool in his basement. 3 of them were dead when they found them.
What the fuck?
7 were still alive.
Why?
Because people were crazy.
Because he's out of his fucking mind. Wow. Well, he might have. Okay, they were 2 feet to 4 feet long. Those are little sharks.
Wow.
He might have been trying to do some sort of a deal to put a fish tank in somebody's house, and he acquired these sharks for it. Or he's a nutty dude and he wanted to keep sharks in his basement.
Fuck sharks.
But here's the thing, like, I knew people that had sharks in their fish tanks. Like, everyone's all gung-ho to save the sharks now. That was not the case like 10, 15 years ago when people had swimming pools, or not swimming pools, fish tanks, like crazy fish tanks. Sometimes people would have like little sharks.
You used to have crazy fish.
Yeah, I used to have piranhas, allegedly.
That was
This
crazy.
may or may not be true.
Yeah.
Piranhas aren't exactly legal.
I might have found some in a friend's house in Bowling Green one time.
Yeah.
And watched them just
They're
feed.
boring. They're boring until it's go time.
Yeah.
And then you're like, whoa.
I want to get it like a not octopus. What's those like things that glow in the like the black lights?
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish. I want to get like a jellyfish aquarium. Like you can, I guess, get that with the lights, so it just looks like you have a ghost in your corner of your room.
They die easy, though,
Do they?
unfortunately. Yeah, I was talking to a scientist about it, and she was explaining that they have, like, Mandalay Bay has this, you ever seen that thing where they have the jellyfish? That's a tank of jellyfish that you could buy? Little tiny jellyfish?
Yeah, look how cool it is. But you can buy big
That's pretty
ones
dope.
too.
But she was explaining that they have to constantly, like, shuffle them in. They, like, take out the dead ones, put in the new ones, and they breed them there.
Wow.
Did you ever see the one they have at Mandalay Bay, dude? It's the shit.
Yeah, in the
It's like
tank.
a circular one, and it lights up different colors. Dude, it's beautiful. Look at these guys.
Hey, you like jellyfish?
They look too much like twins to be boyfriends, right?
Right.
That would be so creepy. If they're boyfriends and they were that close to each other, that's a weird thing to have laying around. What do they eat?
I think just algae.
Oh, so is this like a GoFundMe or some shit?
That's what I pulled up.
Yeah.
It just was a better tank.
The one they had at Mandalay Bay was badass because it was this big, like, acrylic cylinder. And they're all swimming around it, and they're changing the colors. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool to have.
Yeah, they're alive, man. I mean, they're alive, but is that it?
Yeah.
I don't remember them having. Wow.
Tails like that.
That's the one in Mandalay Bay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably conflating it with one from one of the aquariums that I've been to, but fuck, that's beautiful.
See,
Look how
that's-
pretty they are.
Can you imagine doing mushrooms and just looking at that shit?
They're so pretty, but it seems kind of fucked to have them trapped in a tube. I mean, they're just swimming around. They can't go anywhere. Like, isn't part of the magic of being a jellyfish is the fact that you're a jellyfish in the ocean and you just are constantly moving through the ocean? Or have we decided that the jellyfish is too primitive for it to truly experience the majesty of the ocean, and fuck him, get in the tube, and gamblers just going to stare at you? I mean, that's essentially what we decided.
Feed? What? I wonder what you feed.
They
Oh,
feed
baby
it-
shrimp.
They feed at least once a day. Is that what it was saying? Baby brine shrimp.
So like sea monkeys. They eat sea monkeys.
God, they're so weird looking. You know what's interesting? If we found... Oh, you have to have like a separate tank for all that stuff?
Yeah, looks like,
Looks like you have 2 tanks. What is that? That's the baby brine shrimp?
yeah.
Oh, weird. It looks like beef jerky.
Whoa, how bizarre. Oh, they're in these
Probably
little
dissolves,
sheets?
Yeah.
Snap into a
Oh, how
sunshine.
And
strange.
you have to put it in a baster and squeeze it in there or something.
Whoa.
Huh. Weird.
The size and number of jellies would determine how much to feed. Oh, you have to be like really specific. Fuck that.
Just overfeed them. Get some fat jellyfish.
No, they're gonna die, dude. Or they're gonna get out into our toilets. And then, oh, look how they feed them, man. That's crazy.
That's cool.
They just squirt it out there.
I wonder if they
Okay,
know.
I'm back in. I was out. Now I'm back in. I'll figure it out. I'll do the right thing.
Right.
I'll measure it
And
out.
I'm sure a dead jellyfish looks just the same. You know, it's just floating.
They're not moving enough, though. You want them moving, man. Look, he's pouring it in there.
Little jet in
Look at them all eating. That's crazy. They're actually reacting. Here's the thing, like, they're so primitive. We probably don't feel that bad when they die.
Right.
Like if a goldfish dies, you're like, oh, poor little dude.
Because eyeballs.
Yeah, that's.
If they had eyeballs.
Yeah, they have faces, right?
Yep.
Like people, I've heard people say don't eat anything with a face, but they usually don't eat oysters. Those people. You know, like. Gotta eat oysters, man.
Oh, I love oysters until you have bad oysters. I had some bad oysters the other day.
I definitely have before.
Ugh, that's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility, right? You're eating something raw.
Yeah. Did you know there's so many different kinds of oysters? Like I never knew that. There's like tons of different kinds of oysters.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about them, but I do. You know, like if you go to a place, they give you a variety. You get like a dozen. You get 3 of each.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, look at these Kumamotos, and there's a lot in the Pacific Northwest. I know people like around the Seattle area. They actually like can go out and get them and get clams and stuff like that.
There's a certain kind that you're not supposed to eat anymore because of some kind of pollution levels or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah, they
it is.
go clamming in the Pacific Northwest. It's pretty. They get big ass clams too, man. They go digging them right on the shore. They just like bring a bucket and just dig into the sand and pop those fuckers out. That's pretty badass. You can go find some clams.
Santa Barbara has the biggest oyster farm like for a while. Like it's huge, and it's just you like go out and they have these underground cages and they lift them up and
Oh wow.
and they just pick them and eat them, and that's good enough.
Wonder how much they're affected by pollution.
I think it's a lot.
What's up?
Aren't they not like fully used for pollution, but don't they clean the like
Shit out of the ground.
yeah, like clean the water? I thought that's what they're kind of like the ocean filters.
Well, that's what lobsters are, right? Lobsters and crabs, they eat all the dead shit. That's isn't that interesting that they're so goddamn delicious and all they eat is rotten shit all the time?
It's weird.
Lobsters are so delicious. Like sometimes you forget. Sometimes you forget and then you get a like a Maine lobster when you dip them in butter and you're like, good God, this is fucking delicious.
Yeah, check this out. Here's a time lapse of oysters filtering water.
Whoa.
It's super dirty water here, and then
Wow.
a couple hours go by.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Did they just like poop them out though?
I don't
They're
know,
making
I mean,
oysters, bitch. Just throw a bunch of sand in that water. See what the fuck goes down. Yeah, it seems like they're filtering the waters.
That's crazy. There
Makes
it is.
sense. Look, nature has a plan for all its little weird things. And I bet they have all sorts of... I mean, you think about that we need plants for oxygen, right? Plants actually create oxygen. And we create carbon dioxide, and plants live off carbon dioxide. It's weird how there's all these like little relationships that all these different beings have, like back and forth all over nature. So many of them, man. So many weird parasites and symbiotic relationships that animals have with each other. It's a dome, bro. It's flat. It's a dome. It's all simulation.
I'm blown away. I just got a dehumidifier yesterday, and how much water you can pull out of your air. Like I've already, it's a 70-gallon drum or tank, and I've already emptied it 3 times.
70?
70 pints. Sorry, not gallons.
Like,
70
do you know how
pints.
big that is?
Yeah, 70 pints. Sorry.
Think of a gallon of
Yeah,
milk.
I know.
And I'll think of 70
No,
of them.
no,
That's
70
like a swimming pool. Like,
70
what the
pint.
fuck are you doing in your house, man?
But it's a pretty huge bucket of water in just like 4 hours that's just pulled out of my house.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What, no, it's just like from your body?
No, it's
Or
from
the
in the
air,
air.
the humidity?
We've been using our air conditioning so much lately that mine started like leaking everywhere. I was like, God damn it!
So you think it's making the house wet?
Yeah, it's making my floors fucked. So
Really?
yeah, so I'm trying to suck all the water out of it, everything. So it just pulls it from the air and humidity and stuff.
That's weird because LA is pretty dry.
Yeah, but not lately. It's been pretty shitty.
Yeah, it's not shitty. We need water, man. You know, if we barely got away with what we got last winter. That kind of brought everything back to pretty normal. But like Lake Tahoe Ranch, still half full of water. That's what my from like my personal experience, what I can see about how weird the drought was. There was a lake that we used to drop people out of helicopters into at Fear Factor, and it went away. Like the lake didn't exist anymore. There was no lake. All the fish died. All of them. There were huge fish in that lake, like big largemouth bass. They were all over the place, man. People would go from miles around to go fish there. Dead.
Still dead today?
There's nothing there.
Wow.
It's a little bit of water now. A little bit of water. Like maybe like last time I was there, I'd have to go see it again to get a good read on it. But the last time I talked to somebody who was there, it was like half full.
You know what would be interesting?
Which means it's really shallow.
If it gets rain and it comes back to life, how long it would take for the first fish to find its way there.
Dude, it'd probably be a million years.
Or a seagull just accidentally drops one in.
See, the thing about these, what is that?
I think that's it. That Lake Castaic.
No, that's Lake Castaic. So Lake Castaic in 2017 looks pretty good. It's back. That's nice. Yeah, that's another place we used to drop people out of helicopters. I was talking about Tahoe Lake, though.
I typed that in, I thought, and this was what came up instead.
Well, that's pretty close. It's on the way. But, yeah, that place has giant striped bass. I saw the stuntmen on Fear Factor. They would go fishing, like, in between stunts. They had, like, a lunch break. And these guys caught these, like, in, like, 20 minutes, caught these giant-ass striped bass. That place is awesome. But that was half gone. You know, so we got to see it with our own eyes, like places like drying up. And just because it caught it and it turned around because the weather changed, doesn't mean it can't happen instead of 3, 4 years, 5, 6 years. How about 30 years? 30 years of no rain. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like that can happen. You know?
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think just how bad of rain that we had last year, and I think this winter, I think we're just going to get pounded. I think like all the Burbank mountains with all the fires, I think we're going to get flooded now from all the mudslides that's going to cause, because I think this end of the world shit's just continuing to go on.
See, I don't think it really is the end of the world, and it's not even the end of us. It's just that what we thought was permanent was very fragile, and that fucks with our head. But you just got to go into it knowing that. You can't think that those hills are going to stay up.
Right.
Like, they're going to slide.
Right.
Those houses are going to slide. You know, it's just like there's some fucking people that built their houses like this. Like hanging off the side of a cliff with like spikes into the side of the hill. You've seen those houses. There's a lot of those, right? Like on Laurel, you look at that house, you go, where's that one going to go?
Okay.
That's going to slide down here. Remember they shut down Laurel Canyon like a few months back because one of the porches, back porch, like 9,000 fucking pounds slid down the hill,
Yeah.
all concrete and shit.
And you know that's going to happen to the Comedy Store at one point. Like every time it
Oh, the
rains,
house behind it?
every time
Yeah.
it rains, I'm scared to fuck to be in
Look at
that
that
back.
house.
It's from the movie Heat, but like
That house is preposterous.
Stupid. I would hate to live in that.
That was
house.
that Robert De Niro movie, Heat?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, what a crazy view they must have, though. There's a lot of those houses, man. Look at that. That is, you have to be such an optimist. Everything's going to be all right. Like, look at that fucking house. Look at that thing up on giant-ass metal poles.
Seems like such a bad
And
idea.
every night you hear some crazy homeless man sawing at your pole.
Oh my god.
You look down, get the fuck away from there, man.
man.
I'm trying to sleep. Is that a saw? Nah, man, I don't know about no saw. You go to bed.
check out this ad form from 1969.
None of
Says they're
those
the
are up there.
safest buildings as far as landslides and earth tremors are
Oh
concerned.
my god, that
Yeah.
is hilarious.
None of those exist anymore.
Oh, let me read this. The cliff dwellings, amongst the safest of all buildings as far as landslides and earth tremors are concerned, are supported by steel girders planted deep in the ground, anchored to heavy iron bells far below the surface. Actually, that gets me kind of excited. I like that they engineer the shit out of it like that. That's actually, I like when someone solves like what seems like a. All right, I'm on board now. I want a stilt house with metal bells. So it's like your house is supported by kettlebells, motherfucker.
Yeah, until I don't know. They
Bro,
probably
they-
didn't have like a 5.0 earthquake. They were probably like, oh, these are good for like the strongest earthquakes at 3.4.
Maybe it's good for all earthquakes. You don't know shit, bro.
I bet none of these houses exist anymore.
Jamie, there was one in the upper right-hand corner that's like one of my favorite pictures. You scroll up past this.
Spaceship? Yeah.
The spaceship house.
I love that
That
house.
house is the shit.
Look at that.
I don't know who owns that house, but that is the fucking coolest house of all time.
I think it was just sold recently. Again.
I would never want to live there.
That seems like the perfect house for you, though.
It's too freaky. I would go deep. I need to stay calm. Like if I lived in a spaceship, I don't trust myself.
I just got to go to Ron White's house recently. It's a nice house.
Yeah, you know Ron's story, what happened?
Yeah.
Who went out of town, came back, and there was a leak on the first floor, and it flooded, well, on the top floor, the third floor rather, and it flooded down to the second and the first floor, filling all of them up with water.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And he just had it finished now.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. But it's cool. He has like a recording studio in there and like a bar. It's like a pimp house.
I'm
man.
sure it is. Ron White's the shit.
He's a badass.
I love that guy.
He was just in Austin doing a benefit show with Eliza and Crystalia, and they raised like $250,000 in just one show.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Sweet.
That's awesome. I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, Ron White's fucking fantastic.
I love that man.
He's beautiful. He's an animal.
Yeah. You ever hear of an app called Nextdoor?
Nextdoor?
Nextdoor. It's one of the greatest things ever. It's like Reddit for your neighborhood.
Oh no.
So it's pretty much you log in, and you have to live in this neighborhood or you can't get in. It's pretty much kind of thing. And it's like, it's cool because there's little things like, hey, I got this, dresser if anyone wants it, or things like that. But it's also like, hey, I saw a black guy the other day in the neighborhood.
It's like Tony Hinchcliffe's bit.
Which one?
The mass text bit.
Oh, yeah. It's like that.
Don't say anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away his bit.
But it's the most addicting thing ever, and it's very helpful. Like if you have a lost pet or a cat, but it's one of my favorite things to read now. I just go home, I'm giddy about it. Like, oh, what's going on?
But we do have an interface that allows you to communicate with people like straight to your head.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly do you think you'd adopt it? How quickly do you think you'd try it?
I guess if you could turn it off, I would try it pretty close.
If you could turn it off.
Right.
Why do you trust the government, man? They faked the moon landing 6 times, man.
Yeah, I'm worried about my car right now being hacked.
Right.
It's just a little too much. Like I don't even have a emergency brake anymore. I have a button that says
I know.
I'm like, no, I want to pull it in case of emergency. I don't want to push it.
Yeah, I like old cars for that.
Yeah.
Like I like a car that has them fucking e-brakes, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Those are the ones you want too, with the button on the top. You don't want the stomp e-brake. That's for assholes because you can't even control it. You gotta like stomp it and then pull it back up, and like you don't have like you can actually like control the e-brake with the lever a little bit. You can get yourself to go sideways with that thing.
My car has a bug.
Well, that's why they don't have it probably.
Yeah, they probably don't have it for that. My car has a bug though. If like you plug in your iPhone before like too early, and you don't hit the button that says agree to like the maps or whatever, it's like it's okay. That goes away. And then, like, if you have your air conditioning on and other things, you can't turn them off. So, like, the other day, my stereo was, like, on full blast. My air conditioning was, like, on full blast. And I was trying to turn it all off while driving, and I couldn't.
This is your Honda?
Yeah. It's a Apple Home or car or whatever it is.
CarPlay. So but if you disconnected your phone, would it stop?
That's how I did it. But at first, I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's a dope car, though.
I like it, man. It's cool. It's a
technological tour de force.
I could hook up Androids, or it has like Android Play on it also.
That's new. Most of them didn't have it, which is kind of fucked. I couldn't believe that they were getting away with going with Apple CarPlay only, because there's a lot of people that would buy like Chevys and GM cars, like Cadillacs in particular. They have that Apple CarPlay. Porsches have that Apple CarPlay.
I like it though. The texting, definitely, I never text while driving anymore, because now I just tell Siri to, hey, text Joe, hey, what's up?
Yeah. Oh, you could do that with both hands on the wheel. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of those some of the new Japanese cars too, man. Some of that technology that they're coming over with. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
They got some incredible shit. They just put out this new Lexus, the Lexus LC 500. See if you can find Lexus LC 500 in atomic silver. They're like making future cars. Like, remember when you were a kid and you thought about cars in the future, like what they would look like? This car looks like a future car.
Did you see the first flying car? Yes, I saw it yesterday on the news. I don't know if it was, I think it was real.
I saw something about it.
Yeah.
It was real, though.
I don't know if it was real, but it looks like...
Well, I'm sure there would be something. Look at that thing.
It's real.
Look at that car.
Beautiful.
That's a spaceship. Look at that thing. I mean, that looks like some Sylvester Stallone movie from 1998. The year 2060. Yeah, especially in atomic silver. There's something about that silver color that looks. That's a rendering, but that's a ridiculous looking car.
Cars are so sexy nowadays. I really like them.
Well, they can do so much now. They brake for you. They recognize objects on the side. They give you warnings.
Yeah, mine has that lane departure. So like if I'm texting and not paying attention and I go out of my lane, it pushes you back in.
Yeah.
Or if somebody stops, it's in front of you, it slams on your
the
brakes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, which that kind of freaks me out because what if there isn't something there and it just malfunctions and slams on my brakes, you know?
Well, it probably can happen. I mean, anything that's automated can fuck up just like a person fucks up.
Is this the flying car?
It's called the what? The Lilium Jet?
The Lilium Jet.
Yeah.
We believe in a world in
All
which
electric.
everyone can fly anywhere, anytime. Oh, Jesus. Anywhere? Like, what about Hawaii, bitch?
What about your old joke? That's
You gonna fly across the country in this? I don't trust that guy. He looks a little wacky. Looks like he's on Adderall. He's trying to sell me a dream. The vision becomes reality. Now, this is like the beginning of a science fiction movie.
I
The
know.
fuck are you doing? Are you bringing in an organism from space that you shouldn't?
So this is real.
Is it real?
This is the first test flight, it says.
It's probably slow as fuck, like a balloon.
Wow.
It doesn't look real.
Just floats through the air.
Is that real?
It might be from the Onion.
But once it's in the air, it accelerates into forward flight and flies
Well, that was.
wingborne lift.
Interesting.
Why do it doesn't seem real?
Higher speeds than cars, but also higher speeds
Don't
than
know.
a
Too
helicopter.
questionable.
300 kilometers an hour. So what do we decide that is? Somewhere around 150?
Yeah, 150.
This is what it's all about.
That guy takes too much ecstasy. I don't trust him. He's got that look in his eyes. You know that look when a guy's done a lot of ecstasy?
Doesn't look
Like
real.
he's just here
Yeah.
to party. He doesn't look real?
The shadows.
The thing looks fake.
Jamie, how dare
Look in the
you?
comments. Look in the
Let-
comments.
Let a man dream, you son of a bitch.
Clearly fake half the comment section.
Oh, God
damn it.
damn it. You sons of bitches.
Google.
But does it squeeze juice?
I was reading
also?
an article about what they were calling a Russian troll farm. That they have like troll farm, like make a business out of trolling.
I met someone recently that he worked at a meme factory,
What?
and
What?
I didn't really ask a lot of more questions about that because I just assumed it was like someone working for that Fuck Jerry account where there's like 4 or 5 guys that all work together to just pump
Right.
out memes all day. But he literally was like working downtown somewhere, and his
Whoa.
job description was whatever at a meme factory.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
What a cool job, you know?
Yeah.
Like, by the way, mad props to some people that actually use the internet. Like the guy that writes for Wendy's Twitter. I don't know if you've been following this.
No.
It is some of the funniest shit ever. Whoever, bravo, you are the king of Twitter. But like people like talking shit on Wendy's, he'll come back with like some of the best comic timing ever.
Wendy's owned a Twitter troll so hard they deactivated their account.
So that's the first one. Our beef is
Right. Your beef is frozen. We all know it. Y'all know we laugh at your slogan, fresh, never frozen, right? Like you're really a joke, Wendy says. Sorry to hear you think that, but you're wrong. We've only ever used fresh beef since we were founded in 1969. The other guy says, so you deliver it raw on a hot truck? He says, where do you store cold things that aren't frozen? Wow. Y'all should give up. McDonald's got you guys beat with the dope-ass breakfast. And then Wendy says, you don't have to bring them into this just because you forgot refrigerators existed for a second there.
and they've been doing this for a
That's
couple
pretty
years.
strong. That's pretty strong because they didn't even lose their temper.
Right.
Like, that's kind of funny.
Oh, and
They handled that really well.
Wendy's has been doing this for about a year now, just nonstop.
Listen, I don't like to get burgers on the road. I don't like to get fast food, but if I do, that's the one I go to.
Wendy's all day.
Unless there's an In-N-Out nearby, and I've got extra time. Gotta have extra time. Wendy's will give it to you in a shockingly quick amount of time.
So fast.
Like, how is that even possible? It's actually hot. Like, what are you just anticipating selling a certain amount of double cheeseburgers?
Wendy's Burbank is also one of the future stores they're testing, where you walk in and you order off this huge iPad like wall, and then your food comes, and it's like you don't have to even talk to anybody anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of those now, right?
Yeah.
The other thing Wendy's does is they let you be a total fucking slob and order a triple cheeseburger. They have it like right there on the menu. It doesn't even look crazy. Like when I go to In-N-Out, I order a 3x3. I feel like an asshole, But with Wendy's, it's like it's right there. In-N-Out, I'm asking for some shit that doesn't even exist on their menu supposedly.
God, that looks good.
Look at that, Dave's hot and juicy. 3/4 triple, you motherfucker. Whenever I eat one of those, I'm like, this is such a preposterous sandwich.
At Fat Burger, they have all the pictures on the wall of everyone that's finished the giant fucking triple.
Right.
Or it's so crazy. It's such a big thing. It's as big as people's heads.
It's giant. Yeah, it's like speaking of giant, did you see that fucking guy that had a bladder stone that was the size of an ostrich egg? And he had to get it removed from his body?
That was insane.
Dude. That is the craziest thing I've seen in my life. Like, this guy had a rock inside of his body that his own body made. Look at the size of that thing. Jesus. Look at the guy having it in his hand.
So what is that made out of?
Right.
What is in,
Whew, that's
calcium?
a good question. It's a good question. I think that's what it is.
Did you
but
taste
I don't
it?
know. God, look how big it is. What do you think it would taste like? Just
Salt.
licked it.
Salt.
Yeah, why is that any weirder than licking salt that came out of the ground?
Right.
Take that, you grind it up, you put it on your steak. Nobody cares.
I would lick my own stone. I
I
wouldn't
don't know.
lick somebody else's. Though.
Find out. CT scans of the man's abdomen also revealed another much smaller stone in the man's left ureter, which is the tube that carries the urine from the kidneys to the bladder, according to the report, which is published today, blah, blah, blah. The doctors who treated the man noted that he had invasive bladder cancer more than a decade before he developed the stones. Well, I wonder how long it took him to make these stones.
Wow.
Ooh. Imagine if they just keep making them. They have to make a fucking, they have to build a door into his body where they could reach in once a month and pull out an ostrich egg-sized rock.
Ew.
Like, how often does one of those things cook up inside your body?
It's got to be years, huh?
That's an issue with, not that in particular, but kidney stones are an issue with fighters sometimes that cut a lot of weight. It becomes a unwanted side effect. Real bad, too, man. Kidney stones are brutal. A lot of guys have canceled fights because of kidney stones. Matt
You ever had
Mitrione, actually, no, I've never had him. Matt Mitrione actually had him before his Fedor fight, and they had to cancel the first time they were supposed to meet because of kidney stones. But Matt's a heavyweight, which is even weirder because heavyweights don't have to dry themselves out. But some people just like genetically are predisposed to getting them.
Yeah, I know somebody gets them. That's the one you pee out, right?
Yeah, you pee it out.
She gets it like maybe every 6 months. She has.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I wonder if it's like a diet thing.
I think it's a little bit of that. I think it's also just some people just, get them all the time.
Yeah, it's also like the diet thing's just so not fair. Some people could just scarf. They could just chow down pizza and shit.
I wish I could
They do it right in front of everybody. And they look like Teeb. Just,
yeah.
Like, they never gain any weight.
Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
that dude eats pizza every day.
He works out a lot, though. Hinchcliffe does work out a lot. A good amount. Good amount's a good.
I was making fun of him the other night. he punched my arm. He's like, "What are you doing? Taking something?" I was like, "No, I'm not. I go to the gym 3 times a week, Tony. It's not that hard."
How many times a week do you think Tony's going to the gym? He's worked out with me before.
I think he's juicing.
He's worked out in the same area as me.
I was gonna say, on the treadmill versus
He
kettlebells.
lifted some weights. He lifted some weights.
Once.
He's pretty
I
ripped.
think he lifts weights.
All right.
I think he does a little weightlifting.
Hey.
He's shockingly ripped, though.
I think we find out to have a contest between young Jamie.
I think Jamie works out way more than
Young
Tony.
Jamie, Tony Hinchcliffe. Yeah, but Tony Hinchcliffe might be like, "I'll take you up on your contest, young Jamie."
Get a new contest going.
Yeah, we might have to get another one.
Yeah.
We still have to figure out what we're going to do with this other
I
one
know.
because Ari went back to New York.
We got nowhere with that. I feel like, at the end of it.
Yeah, we barely did. They wanted to wrap it up.
What-
No, we're going to finish this.
What is it?
Well, we came to one idea, which was a contest between Segura, Bert, Ari, and me. That for 30 days of October, no booze, and you have to do 15 yoga classes. We all agreed on that one. 15 hot yoga classes, 90-minute classes.
With no breaks, right, or something like that.
No breaks. Ari wants to take breaks like a bitch. Ari was going to lose anyway. I feel like that's one of the reasons why we say, well, what about a break? I got to take a break. If I don't take a break to go and pee, I need to pee. I'm a Jew. Jews need to pee. Remember he said that?
Look, I'll do it right here.
That didn't even make sense. He peed twice during the show. He pulls his dick out and pisses into a kombucha jar.
Well, he's
Twice.
been doing that shit a lot
Does
lately.
that a lot.
I've noticed.
Yeah, he's a wild man. He lived in the jungle for 4 months. He lived with, like natives and shit.
Yeah.
He's out there in the forest. He's crazy. But so he's basically backing out. He's like, I can't do it. I can't stand living out of a suitcase. I'm like, bitch, you were in Asia for 4 months living out of a backpack, sleeping in hostels. Now all of a sudden you're back? You got to taste the good life?
Didn't he also back
Is that Ari
out?
walking around naked? Why is he walking around naked?
I don't know.
Oh, they went to the desert last night.
Oh, they do mushrooms?
Yeah.
So Ari's just wandering around naked.
Jesus Christ.
That makes sense.
There's the place
like a
next
good
to me
move.
has a new kind of yoga you should try out. I want to try it out. It's outdoors. It's baby goat yoga. And
What's that mean?
It's pretty much you do all this yoga, and then there's just baby goats that will climb on you while you're doing it and run around and stuff like that.
Oh, and is it supposed to like the baby goats like feel good? Like it,
Yeah, it
people like it?
yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And
That
it's-
is hilarious.
They do it right next to my house. I need to do it.
Dude, that is fucking hilarious. So they let these goats. What if they shit in your face while you're
Nah, they
down
don't.
there?
They don't do that.
So these people are doing their yoga, and while they're doing the yoga, they have to do it around these goats. This is hilarious. Look at the goats just climbing up on them.
The guy's probably like, I don't know why I just signed up for this.
Goats have fucking incredible balance, man. Like from the box, like right out of the snatch, they
Yeah.
can climb a tree.
Now you should have baby goats. I
No.
think why not? Why
'Cause
don't?
I had a friend who had goats.
Oh.
I had a friend who got goats because he has a big piece of land
Right.
in Topanga, and the goats ate everything. They don't stop eating, man. They don't just eat the hay either. They're like, fuck your hay. And they just start wandering through your... Look at that goat. Climbed a tree, man.
How does that happen?
Goat climbed a fucking palm tree. They just can, dude.
That's the crazy. How's it going to get down?
They climb down. Dude.
Do they?
Yes.
I am so amazed by baby goats. I want one so bad.
Yeah, these things are crazy. Did it fall?
That's what I was gonna say. Here, didn't like we see videos of eagles coming and swooping these
Yeah,
guys
but
down or
that's
something?
different.
Yeah.
They grab them off of... They definitely fall. They have fallen in the past. They definitely fall. And animals, sometimes, like bears in particular, if you see a bear eating a mountain goat, a lot of times it's because the mountain goat fell. You know? Like bears, most of the time, are not catching mountain goats. That's one of the reasons why they've adapted to live in these crazy environments, is because predators can't get to them there. Like, this is what they've done. They figured out a way to exist.
Feet look like.
Yeah, like, how keep that thing there, man. Hold on.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ. I want to see what the fuck
That's
happens.
amazing.
I don't think anything's gonna happen.
But look at what it's doing. Like, trying to figure out how to turn around. I mean, it is on the side of a cliff. And it knows not to do anything stupid and is not freaking out.
It's
Like,
amazing.
It's almost like their brains don't have the ability. Look at that. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm freaking out. Like, the way those things can catch themselves
Yeah.
and the way it can walk on the side.
Oh,
Jesus
oh, shit.
Christ. Oh, my God.
And they're not scared of heights at all.
At all.
Like they don't have that in them. Oh,
Right.
he's
That
like-
looks young, too. That one looks young. You know, I think that what you saw, like that slip right there, that could definitely slip to its death. It definitely could. It must happen every now and then.
Somebody attached a GoPro to an eagle recently, and they live streamed it on Periscope. And it was one of the most fascinating ththings, just seeing an eagle fly around and look. Like it'll like look to the right and see like a little dot move, and so then it'll get closer, and then it was a cool camera view. So I don't know if it's on YouTube now, but it's very interesting to watch.
That is crazy that you can do that now, right? You
Yeah.
can put a camera on an eagle and see things from his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that series of photos where a mountain lion tried to kill a goat and they both fell to their death?
Yeah,
A mountain goat? Was it a mountain goat or was it a
sheep maybe.
mountain sheep? I think it was a bighorn sheep.
Yeah,
It was like a mountain lion and a bighorn sheep, and they were both splattered on the fucking highway. It's amazing though. It's an amazing series of images. Like, I mean, I'm not a cruel person. This is not me being cruel, but I think there's something beautiful about that. And this is what I think is beautiful about that. Go to like full screen with that
I was
thing.
gonna go to the full series one.
Just go full screen to that one picture that you had up.
My bad.
It's all right. Go full. Yeah, look at that. I mean, they're both gone.
What's
And
that?
they're both next to a cliff. And the only way this happens, right?
That's crazy.
You see the horn off to the left? That's his other horn.
I thought it was a
It blew
hitchhiker's
off.
hand.
No, it blew off. I mean, they probably fell a long way. Go to the series now. That's a. What's crazy about it is like it represents how hard that life is. Like, look, it's just blood's pouring out of its head right there.
Jesus.
That's nuts. That is nuts, man. Where the horn blew off. Holy shit. God damn, dude. Look at that mountain lion. Tweet-woo, tweet-woo, tweet-woo. Look at it. It's got a mouthful of fur, bro.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Never let go.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. It probably had it in its mouth as they went down. They both went down together. Dude, that is a goddamn powerful series of images. Look at that. Back up and see the height of that cliff. Oh, wow. Holy fuck stick. Ah, ba-blang!
Surprised he didn't land on his feet.
Oh, he probably held on that goat the entire way down, that fucking murderer.
It says it fell from somewhere up there.
Jesus, how high that is. Found on a closed road near Glacier National Park. Fuck. Dude, we got to get those images for the studio. We have to. See if those are for sale. Find out if those are for sale.
I have a poster printer. You just send them to me. I'll print them out for you.
I think you're supposed to buy those. Right? Those are like, there's something powerful about it. That's not like just a picture of a kid with a balloon.
Right.
You know, there's something about that. Like somebody had to be there to get that picture. They should get some money.
Printers are pretty amazing nowadays. I got this poster printer for like $200, $300, and it prints like pretty decent sized posters, and so like you can just go hey, I've always wanted a werewolf poster. You just print it out and it's like go into the store, boom, you have it. Frame
How
it.
big?
I'd probably say like maybe 31 by 20 or something. I don't know.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff that special effects guys like Rick Baker are doing with 3D printing now. They're making all these like masks and heads and shit with 3D printing. Imagine if you could just like make something in a computer and then go over to the 3D printer and print that bitch out.
For some things, it's perfect. Like I just lost like a little battery cover to one of my remotes the other day, and I bet if I had a 3D printer, I could find the model of the battery cover and just print it out or make it.
Fuck yeah, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
When you really think, I mean, how much of that is going to be like the future of objects? The future of things. Like, how much less shit would you have to sell people if you could just sell them? Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I would print that out.
Is that Rick Baker's Popeye?
Yeah,
whoa.
MakerBot 3D printer, I believe.
Oh, my God, that's awesome.
Whoa, that's amazing.
That's how it starts, and then he paints it.
Wow.
Ooh, that's crazy. Look at that one right above it.
That's so cool.
Wow. Go back to that other one that you just had with the whole series of them. There's the Benicio del Toro werewolf.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of. Pretty close to it in the middle. God damn, that's amazing.
That'd be fun to paint.
Yeah, right? Once it's 3D printed out.
Right.
These guys have so many tools at their disposal now. But I wonder how much of that is going to be lost, like all the special effects makeup stuff, in the transition to CGI. Because it seems like it's just inevitable that CGI keeps getting better and better and better.
Still arguments for having a mix of this and using practical effects and whatnot.
Right.
Like I saw a clip of that the American Werewolf actually moving in the back room while they were testing it out. It looks obviously fake as shit, but you can't. We know what to look for now in that fake stuff, and it really is catching us off guard all the time. Just like when we saw that video, right away we're like, fake, fake, fake.
Right.
And even when it looks good, 10 years later, you look back at something and you're like, God, that looks horrible.
Dude, I played King Kong, the original King Kong, for my kids a couple years back, and they were laughing. They were so scared at first, and I was telling them, no, I'm not showing you anything scary. I'm like, this is going to be really funny. It's so silly.
It's silly.
It doesn't seem real at all. And they were like, no, that's the monster? I go, yeah, that's the monster. And, because they're little kids, they over-laugh, like,
Right.
fell down, and they're being so silly. It was really funny, man.
I really wish that King Kong Island was better. I hated that movie so much.
Come on, man. How many times can you tell that stupid story?
I know.
It's a racist story anyway. King Kong's surrounded by black chicks. Never cares. One white chick shows up. He loses his fucking mind. He's climbing buildings, bringing her to the top. He breaks out of chains. It's so stupid. Look how big he is.
Not that big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. They changed them a bunch of times.
Yeah.
In different versions.
They have a graph that shows all the sizes from all the past movies of him and Godzilla.
Well, the Japanese movie was a big one. They made him like 500 feet tall or something crazy. So I think he was supposed to be like 50 feet tall in the first one.
There you go.
Is that it right there? King Kong Escapes,
Down here.
1967. That's
like-
the one.
18 foot, 12 foot tall in the 1933 one.
Wow. That's it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That he looks so small compared to like.
Wow. And then he was 12 feet tall. In the Son of Kong. Oh, that's the little one. Yeah.
King Kong Lives. That was my favorite. I saw that in the theater.
See, he was pretty goddamn big. He was 1,000 feet tall.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla's going to fuck him up.
Yeah.
Period. Look how much bigger he is.
How is that even possible?
Not even close. The new Godzilla will super fuck him up. The new Godzilla is goddamn terrifying. He seems to be thinking. But
Yeah.
you can't make a good one of these. That was which years?
That's the Skull Island one. That's the newer one.
The newer one?
Yeah.
You can, I mean, you can only make so many of these goddamn things. You know? After a while, it's like, let me guess. You know, the girl's going to make it. She's going to be fine. She's going to have a few close calls. We're going to get real excited. Whoa, is she going to be okay? Is the girl, that blonde lady, going to be okay? Meanwhile, he's stomping on black chicks left and right. Just stomping his way through the village. Stepping on black dudes. Just that white girl. He's just so enthralled by her.
God,
It's the most racist movie of all time.
it really is.
Like the first time King Kong sees a white chick, he loses his shit.
I went down a rabbit hole the other day watching that one gorilla that Robin Williams used to hang out with all the time. What's that gorilla? Coco. Have you ever watched any of his Coco? I love that. It's pretty amazing.
They're very smart, man. Very smart.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like people smart, but they're like you understand that they're not. This is not like a gopher or a groundhog or something. Like they're on a completely different level
Yeah.
than most other mammals besides us.
Coco recently got some new kittens, and it's amazing watching him play with the kittens.
I think it's a girl, right?
Yeah, her. Sorry.
You misgendered Coco, bro.
You
That's so rude.
That's just one of those animals you just think it's a guy. You look
Yeah.
at it's like how I look at dogs. I consider them guys and cats girls for some reason.
Yeah, because she could smash your fucking head in anytime she wants to. You know how strong that thing must be?
Yeah.
But yet she's so gentle. They're vegetarians, too. They're sweeties. Gorillas are big sweeties for the most part. What's really kind of nuts, man, is chimpanzees. How smart they are. She's twerking.
Oh, she's twerking. Let's see that.
Get out of there.
Hey,
That's
lady.
hilarious.
Hey, lady. Can I get on that?
Strong twerks, by the way.
God,
That
they
girl's-
love it.
She has been working on her hoe skills. She's not just, it's not like her first time doing that. She's developed those fast twitch butt muscles, where you could really twerk. Girls who twerk and you go, whoa, you really do know how to do this. You ever seen like a little kid try to do a yo-yo? They don't quite get it. The yo-yo doesn't come back all the way like shit. You try to teach them, no, you gotta like go down and then go up, and they never get it. That's the same thing with like a amateur twerker. Like a girl doesn't really know how to twerk.
Yeah.
They don't have that kind of pop and bounce that girl did. That girl has done a lot of things she probably regrets. She's probably been hammered more than once doing that. She's probably gone butt to butt with other girls.
I love butt to butt.
Yeah, butt to butt. Yeah, it's been a lot of debauchery. A lot of debauchery with
I've
that
become
young
such
lady.
an ass man in the last couple of years. I've never
I hope-
was an
you
ass
feel good
guy.
about yourself?
I feel way better. Well, I can't even imagine I was a tit guy for so long. Like, asses have really...
Well, you can enjoy the whole woman, by the way.
Yeah.
That's like the male feminist approach. Asshole. Maybe just treat him as a whole woman, not think of it as like a tit guy or an ass guy.
Okay. See,
How
those
many
naked...
girls are like, I'm not a dick girl. I like their mouth. I like to eat my box and shut their mouth. Not really into dicks.
I saw that. I looked up. I had to find the Black China naked photos.
Boobs are back.
Boobs are not
Oh,
bad.
they're back.
New York
wow,
Post, man.
amazing. Boobs are back.
Like they went away.
When the fuck did boobs go away? See, this is just like people run out of shit to talk about. That's what it is. It's like half the things that we discuss in this podcast. Like, what? What are they doing? We're just shooting the shit, folks. They're printing it.
Congratulations on that New York Times retraction that you pretty much caused. That was pretty beautiful watching that go down.
Well, it's not. I mean, it is a guy who wrote it, and it was printed in the New York Times.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was in the New York Times, but it's an individual's choice and maybe an editor's choice to embellish the reality of what happened. They said that Conor's, it was about the boxing match. They said that his face was covered in blood, completely covered in blood, and that he was rescued before he fell through the ropes. Neither one of those things are true.
Right.
It's just not true. His face wasn't bloody at all. I mean, he had a little bit of a swelling under his left eye. He was definitely getting punched in the face, and I definitely agree with the stoppage of the fight. He was exhausted, and he was falling all over the place. But it was more that Floyd was just teeing off on him, and he wasn't firing back. There was no blood, and he wasn't going to fall through the ropes. He might have went down. Might have went down at one point in the fight. I mean, if Floyd kept punching him, that might be actually a smart move for him. Catch 10 seconds, you know, do a standing 8 count, get up at the count, or you know, go down to a knee rather, get up at the count of 8. You know, they brush your gloves off. You get a second or two there, then you go back in. Maybe that'd have been enough for him to get through the round. You know, because he was for sure having a real hard time recovering. But what the New York Times wrote was just not true. Like what it was just as juicy. What it was is 40-year-old boxer comes out of retirement and schools the #1 most popular MMA fighter in the world in a boxing match, proving what a lot of experts already knew, that a specialist, someone who's the greatest specialist of all time when it comes to boxing. I mean, it's pretty arguable. Floyd's in there's like 2 or 3 people that you could argue like the greatest of all time. In my opinion, Floyd is the #1. But he beat Conor McGregor in a way that you would expect a real specialist to beat someone who's just pretty good at it. He was masterful. It's fucking awesome to watch. And what Conor said afterwards is hilarious, too. I turned him into a Mexican. He fought like a Mexican. Because that's what people love about Mexican fighters, that Mexican fighters are known for coming straight at you. Like, Mexican fighters aren't dancers. They're not dancing around and, doing the Ali shuffle. They're like Julio Cesar Chavez. They're moving forward. They're like Marco Antonio Barrera. They're moving forward. Mexican boxers are like some of the proudest, most rugged warriors ever. That's how Floyd fought. He really did fight like a super technical, aggressive, brawling style. He tired Conor out, then beat his ass. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful for boxing. Beautiful for the overall art of fighting, because we need to see these things. I think this thing that we're all participating in, fans of MMA, practitioners of MMA, this thing that we're all participating in is trying to figure out what style is the very best style for fighting, period. And then we found along the way that it varies. It varies on the individual. Styles make fights, and then sometimes one guy can beat another guy, but that guy can beat someone who could beat him, and it gets real weird. Like, MMA math is like one of the squirreliest fucking predictors of like who's going to win a fight ever. But we're finding out like what's fucking real. Like when you've got all the belief in yourself in the world, when you've got knockout power, when you really believe you can beat the greatest boxer of all time, what happens? Oh, you get fucked up. Okay, that's good. It's good to learn. It's good to learn. It's good to learn that even though he lands a few shots, makes it a real interesting contest, good to learn that the best specialist of all time is that for a reason. This isn't bullshit. This is Floyd Mayweather. He's 49-0, now he's 50-0. I mean, that's good for combat sport. It's good for everybody. That's what's so stupid about this whole boxing versus MMA feud. It's so dumb. It gets everybody excited about fights. And this inter-competition thing between an MMA fighter coming over to boxing, that's even more fun. Because then it gets like everything excited on both sides. And I think it's gotten a lot of people super excited about Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, which is next weekend. People are super pumped up about that fight, particularly because we're just past this Conor-Floyd Mayweather fight. Floyd Mayweather has his way with Conor, just puts on a display, and now we're going to get to see, instead of the master versus a guy who really wasn't on his level, now we're going to get to see 2 guys in their prime at the top of the food chain. 2 of the top 3, top 4 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and they're going to go at it. So it's good for everybody. They just don't... These guys are so old school. they understand social media in a sense. They know they can use it to promote fights. They don't know that it's changed the whole community, and that instead of like having some stupid rivalry with this other like sport, MMA, instead of having that, just accept each other. Accept each other and talk highly of the best examples in both sports, and everybody will be fine. I mean, that's what you're seeing with this Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight. That's what you're going to see with the Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight. You don't have to be one or the other. And the boxing people don't have to not like MMA. I love boxing, and I work in MMA. I love boxing. I watch all the big fights. I'm always gonna. It's fascinating. It's awesome. It's nice to know who the real specialists are. You know, when it comes to that, I love kickboxing. Big fan of that I like to know. I love jiu-jitsu. I want to know. I want to know how good are the best guys. What would happen if the best guy in the UFC fought the best guy in jiu-jitsu in a straight-up jiu-jitsu match? I want to see. You know, those things are interesting.
I wanted to see a boxer go to the UFC and see how
that's going to happen. That's going to happen eventually. You know, I mean, we had James Toney, of course, but James is way past his prime, and it didn't even look like he trained for that fight. I think James just took a payday, if I had to guess. You know, and Randy just hit him with a low ankle pick, took him down. I think maybe he hit a low single. I forget what it was, but he went way low. But either way, there's not a chance in hell that James Toney was ever going to stop Randy Couture from taking him down. It's just not going to happen. He would have to catch him absolutely perfect coming in for the very first punch, and if he didn't, Randy was going to just molest him. He's going to have his way with him.
You excited about GSP?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. Quite honestly, I wanted to see him at 170. I think him versus Woodley is the fight. Like, Woodley's had 2 fights in a row where people like were booing him. 3 really, because he had 2 fights with Wonder Boy that were like chess matches, and then 1 fight with Damian Maia, which was also like just not the most exciting fight. But I think him versus GSP would be a very exciting fight. I think that's the real fight, because that's GSP's real weight class too. You know, I'm interested in that. But I'm interested in the Bisping fight too, because I think it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for GSP. Bisping is a handful. He's a big fella too. Fought at 205 in the Ultimate Fighter. Fights in 185 in the UFC. He's way bigger than George. And he's gotten fucking tough, man. He's real good. Legitimately real good. And George has been out for a long time.
Yeah, what's he been doing?
Well, he's been training. He's definitely stayed in shape. He did a lot of gymnastics, did a lot of exercise. You know, he made a shit ton of money when he was fighting. You know, he had contracts with Nike, and he had was it Nike or was it I think he had something. I know he had something with Gatorade, but I want to say George had something with, maybe it's Under Armour. I think he's got something with Under Armour. Yeah, so he's had a bunch of big endorsements, and he's a giant hero in Canada. I mean, just giant, right? So I think for, you know, a while he's just recovering. You know, all those wars, all those years of getting in brawls, and then finally he got to a point where his body started feeling real good again. He's like, fuck it, let's get back in there.
I wonder if the aliens are still around.
The alien, they come to me at the red light.
I refuse to drink Gatorade anymore. I used to drink a Gatorade every single day for the last like 20 years, and then the other day, busted one open, drank it, and it was something that felt like a raw egg went into my mouth. Ooh. And I spit it back in, and it was just this blob.
Got shot a load of Gatorade.
I saw him post this video, and I did some Googling on it. It's apparently a thing, like the Gatorade globs.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm not the only one.
So it's like kombucha.
See, that was in my mouth.
Top 119 complaints and reviews about Gatorade.
From Consumer Affairs. So.
Yeah.
So you got one of these, Brian?
Yeah, in my mouth, and I saved it up until about a week ago because I was going to just call them, but then I was like, who cares about this blob?
What are they saying it is? Whoa, that's a load. Someone shot a load in there.
It was the grossest thing ever, and it seriously, I have like flashbacks, and I will never ever drink a Gatorade for the rest of my life. And look at this crap,
dude. This is wow. That's just mold, though.
Yeah,
that's mold.
It's like moldy sugar or something.
Right, but who knows how long that's been sitting there.
That's one thing. Whenever you go to a gas station or stuff, always look at the bottom of your container. Like if you're buying like a plastic bottle of like apple juice or something. Because I've noticed ever since then, I'm so paranoid about anything. And I tell you, half the times I'm looking at the bottom, like that does not look right. Like this looks like it's been mold or something.
Things that are traveling around like McDonald's or the dude who was worried about Wendy's with the hot trucks. But there are things that are traveling around in hot trucks. You know, like for real. And I wonder like what temperature Gatorade has to get to before shit starts growing in it.
And that's it. I mean, I bought my Gatorade from Amazon. You know, so
oh, it's probably sitting in some hot warehouse somewhere, just cooking. You know, when it's sealed, I wonder like, what does that mean when they seal it, right? Like, obviously air's not getting to it right now, but there's some air in there. What happens to that air?
Right.
How's that air affect? Is shit growing in that air or no?
Much yeast.
I think there's chemicals in there to make sure that nothing happens.
Like they found some 6,000-year-old bottle of wine recently. Did you see that? Yeah, I think actually what they found was a 6,000-year-old vessel that contained residue of wine. I don't think they found like 6,000-year-old bottle that you could just get fucked up on. Imagine traces of 6,000-year-old wine discovered in Sicilian cave. That's my people. They're out there. They're making a fucking nice sauce. They got a nice wine. This guy's been growing wine for 16,000 fucking years. You got to get this wine in you. Get this wine in you.
Where's the gravy?
16,000 years. His fucking family's been over here. They used to have thumbs. They used to pick the grape with their feet. That's how long ago they did this. These motherfuckers. Wow, look at those pots that they found. That is crazy. Those are 6,000-year-old pots. They used to hold wine.
That's cool.
What
Fucking
did they
A,
just
man.
find in Canada that's older than Göbekli Tepe or
Yeah,
something?
some kid found a civil. Don't change that yet though. I want to look at this for a second. That just trips me out that those big vessels are 6,000 years old. That is so weird, man. That is so fucking long ago to try to pretend what life was like 2,000 years before Christ. That's essentially what you're looking at there.
Christ.
Or 4,000, yeah,
6,000.
4,000 years before Christ.
6,000.
So 6,000 years ago. No, Christ was 0, right? So it's 2017. So it's
we're
2,000
already-
years
yeah.
past Christ.
Like you said before.
They say current era, BCE, but you're not fooling everybody. We know what it is. It's before Jesus, you fuck.
Jeez.
Why would you have it? Oh, just a coincidence that before current era just happens to land exactly on when Jesus came back? Shut up. Assholes with their BCE. Before current era. What does that even mean? Why can't we just start it? Can we go back and agree what 0 is and rewrite history? I mean, we decided that this was, the BC, 2500 BC, they made the pyramids. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? You're going backwards?
Forgot to make
So 6,000 BC is actually earlier than 2500 BC? You guys are retarded. What a stupid way of measuring shit. How about you go all the way back, you make that 0, and you start from scratch? Because like the Earth doesn't know what year we're in. The Earth has no idea what year we're deciding it in. To make some arbitrary number and then have everything before that start with a low number and build high, like you have a flat line between reality and some new dimension, or like water and air, like you have a hot number.
When was the software created? 0, 1s?
Maybe a Christian monk.
Yeah, I looked up the other day where alphabetical order came from and who got to decide why it was that and what made A before B or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. And it was some scholars back that, when people couldn't write, they were the only ones that could write and read. So they made it up.
You know what the craziest trip is, man? When people were writing in ancient Hebrew, they wrote with letters that also meant numbers. Like a word also had a numerical value. Like there was no numbers. They didn't have like numbers. They had A, and A is also 1. B is also 2.
I just thought of that time period, and no one also knew how to read. So if you got a letter or whatever, let's say if you got one.
Is that true, though?
You'd have to
No
give
one
it to
knew how to
someone.
read?
No, no one, but I would say most people probably didn't. You might have to
think
give it
you're
to someone
racist.
to read for you. You'd have to trust their translation. That's all I was going at.
You're racist.
All right.
They were making pyramids. They could all read amazing. Yeah, you might be right? Like that was the whole Martin Luther thing, right? Lutheranism.
Yeah.
He had figured out how to make the Bible and translate it into I think it was German, into a phonetic language that people could understand. Because before they had to like trust the priests or learn Latin, I guess.
I'm Lutheran, Joe.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Those are the super people. They figured it out, man. Who are the ones that? Oh, Pentecostals. Those are my favorite because they fuck with snakes and shit. Those are my favorite. I like those. That's hot weather Southern people, man. That's what that shit is. That's all people that live in a place where your brain is getting boiled by the heat, and you just decide to start dancing with snakes and, you know, and fucking talking in tongues. Samalama ding dong. They're sweating. They're always sweating. Those Pentecostal guys, they're always yelling and screaming. Yeah, man. They
have big conventions or something where they meet every year too.
Pentecostals do? They meet and swap snakes. I'll let you borrow my snake. It almost got me last week. Every now and then one of them gets got by a snake. That's important too, man. All those people in their group have to go, oh, okay.
Big old party.
Look at that. How much
Gaylord.
Gaylord Opryland Resort. Shut your mouth. How much butt fucking is going on? Just butt fucking in that room.
So much butt fucking.
Go to that overhead view. How much pray the gay away is happening in that room? At least 30%, right? 30% of those people are just trying to fight off the gay. Hard.
Nashville.
There was a lawsuit that was just I was just reading about where these some sort of Christian cult. They kidnapped this guy and beat the shit out of him because he was gay. They were trying to beat the gay away.
That's crazy.
Oh, my God. There's so much of that going on. So much of that pray the gay away. What is this? Mother accused of having son beat the gay away could face hate crime charges. Yeah. Look at her. Is that the woman? Oh, my God.
What?
Is she going to talk about it? We should probably hear her talk. Do you think we'll get yanked?
I don't know. It's the news. It's a news report.
Yeah, let's hear what she has to say about beating the shit out of her son.
Your 15-year-old is gay?
In some way that yes, I think that he was molested. But like I said, I reported to YPD and nothing was done.
And does it bother you if he does come out to be gay? Does that bother you?
It bothered me because is a young age. He's not all there. He do not know right from wrong. So, yes, it do.
Yes, it
Whoa.
do.
That's weird.
Whoa.
Is that her mugshot right below it? The one that looks like Cat Williams?
It's like James Brown.
James Brown.
Dun, 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 dun. Get up. Get on up. Get up. What is that? Oh, it's from Whiteville.
North Carolina.
She lives in Whiteville.
This is simulation theory shit, man.
Whiteville,
this is not real.
North Carolina. She's currently being charged with a misdemeanor child abuse. That's all you get for beating the gay away. You get misdemeanor child abuse. He's 15. Man.
Somebody's been molesting him, is what she said.
Whoo, Jesus Christ.
All right.
God damn it, man.
So, check this out.
That's
Hurricane
hardcore.
Irma. That's even crazier right now.
What? Hurricane Irma holds about twice the destructive energy of all bombs used in the Second World War.
There's 7 trillion watts of power in it right now.
So why can't we get like some kind of a windmill up there
Yeah,
and
'cause
collect it?
You would have to have a big one, and then it would become the biggest weapon ever.
Well, why don't we design that instead of the Galaxy Note 8 that no one wants to buy?
I got it.
How about you buy a giant windmill thing and put it up there and make all the power, please?
So I have some
Thank
friends
you.
that are in Florida right now, and the unforeseen problem that being out here and not knowing why and what people are doing there. I also have an uncle in Orlando who's telling me he's not leaving right now because the roads are gridlocked and the highway, there's nowhere to go.
Oh.
My friends who left Tampa yesterday got up at like 9 in the morning, packed all their shit up, and were like, all right, let's go. Where are we going to go? They were like, let's take side roads because it's probably going to be busy everywhere. So they did for a while, 3-4 hours of side roads, and then eventually you're going to run out of gas. You got to go get gas. First place they stop, no gas. They're all out.
Oh, no.
So they continue on to the next one, wait in a gigantic line to fill up. But now it's again like, hopefully we can live off of this tank of gas for the next fucking
That's
till we
scary.
get where we're going. And everybody has to leave right now because the whole state could be potentially under 10 feet of water.
The
in a
whole
couple
state.
days.
Yeah.
The whole
Like
state.
10-foot storm surge is coming.
The whole state.
I mean, it won't make it all the way to the middle probably, but
it might.
fucking gigantic. We don't know, obviously, too.
The only positive, if there's any positive thing compared to the last hurricane, is that it's not going to stall over Florida. It's going to keep on going and losing energy the higher it gets. But Orlando should be might get really fucked. You know, that's Disney World. Disney World might be gone this weekend.
Right,
and
it
they just
might go
rebuild it
away.
all. Yeah, they just rebuild it all, or all this new stuff too. So,
Whoa.
Oh yeah, there's like that 90% of this island, Barbuda,
Is gone.
is gone.
Yeah.
Uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable.
Johnny
They don't
Depp's
even know
Island.
some of the shit too because they can't see it. It was all happening last night. They can't get over to find out what's going to get reports of it even. They
Yeah.
probably have
So
no
they don't
internet.
know if the people are dead. They don't know shit,
know, yeah.
right?
I mean, those islands are so small. I mean, what is this the size of like Texas or Ohio or something like that? It's
Yeah, it's the size of Ohio,
like
the storm is.
400 miles across.
that's scary.
How wide is Florida? Florida's not 400 miles across,
No,
right?
I don't know exactly, but it's probably, I would go 300, 250.
Pretty girthy.
So it's going to be like a giant eraser that just rolls up Florida.
And they're still not sure. It could turn, you know. It can
Right.
always, these things can always turn. It could go back. It could turn left and go to Texas.
You know who are the grossest people that have ever lived? The
Speaking of
people,
Florida.
the people that go, they stay and they survive, and the storm miraculously turns.
knew
And
it.
they're like, I fucking knew it. No, you didn't, stupid. You didn't know it. You're no better than the people that got killed by it. You got lucky.
You know, that's a lot of people in Houston. That's how they feel. They make it a party. They have hurricane parties, and this one really caught them off guard. Did you know?
How did that catch them off guard? They saw it coming from days away.
Well, I think they, just in their heads, think, "Oh no,
Yeah.
you know, we're fine. We've been fine for years. You know, we're
They're
gonna-"
drunk. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
They're fucking partying. They're listening to Kid Rock. They're on top of the roof. They're making out. They're like, we don't care. We'll stay up here. We got a boat. We're going to be fine. We'll catch fish.
There was an episode I was on. I don't know if it was the last time I was on or whatever, but we were talking about floods in Houston, and I showed you that that concrete, or not concrete, pavement that sucks up water. I wonder if that would have been any help if they had implemented that like all over the place.
Maybe.
Permeable.
But I think the amount of water they were dealing with is just so unprecedented. They showed the difference between Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Harvey, like the sheer amount of volume of water. It's insane. Like, this was such a big, big hurricane. That's just... I wish there was a definitive answer as to if all this is a direct result of like human behavior, industry, car exhaust. I wish there was a definitive result, like where you could see it. Like, yeah, here's the number that you can show. What are you showing me here?
That concrete.
Oh, the water drinking concrete.
4,000.
So how does that do that?
I have no idea.
It's magic.
It's crazy. It could absorb runoff from fast floods. If you're watching it, folks, the people that are just listening, it doesn't even seem real. It's like they have this giant water truck, and it's fucking pouring water all over the concrete, and it's just dissipating almost instantaneously into the concrete. It's super weird.
I wonder if it has like a basement, and what it does is it goes through like kind of like a concrete filter and goes underneath, so the actual water is just like underneath in the
Yeah,
basement.
man, I don't know what the fuck it does. It doesn't even seem real. It seems like a scene in a Terminator movie.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, either way, like what they dealt with in Houston is so much water. I just doubt that. I mean, maybe that would have helped a little, but I think that they're dealing with just some insane amount of water.
Yeah.
Does that shows what it is, Jamie?
Yeah.
It's like some sort of filtration system.
Yeah. Yes, so.
So it allows the water to go through it.
And it can't
It's
come
like
back out.
porous.
I don't know. Still seems like it was probably too much water.
Yeah, that Harvey was a monster hurricane. The crazy thing is how much bigger Irma is. Like, I think we're numb to it. I think we look at it and it doesn't make sense to us, you know?
Got 185-mile sustained winds for over a day.
No.
Epcot
insane.
Center is just going to start rolling like a Katamari.
No. But here's the thing, right? Is this the strongest they can get? No. They can get stronger than this.
Could be, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just the categories they tracked. This was the highest they'd gone, and now this one is the new bar to be, basically.
A Delta airline accidentally flew through it yesterday by mistake,
What?
and it got out at the last minute.
What?
I forgot. I read that this morning when I woke up.
It got out?
Yeah, I guess it accidentally flew into it, and somehow it got out of the hurricane.
Okay, so the pilot piloted his way out.
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah,
hurricane.
yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
thought you meant it got out. That the pilot did this.
Oh.
Delta pilot flew through Irma, one of the most powerful hurricanes recorded, and all 173 passengers are safe. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
The last one to fly out of Puerto Rico.
Oh, they had to? They had to fly through it? Did they fucking judge it wrong?
Yeah, they went through 185,000 mile hour winds. Can you imagine that turbulence?
Well, it's not that fast. It's 187 miles an hour, right?
Right.
Fuck, that thing is giant, man. When you see it on the ground, or in one of those overhead maps, and you realize how big it is, look how big that is. That's so crazy. So they flew through part of it.
I guess, yeah.
Does it show?
I'm trying to figure it out. These people.
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's going right now.
25 mile an hour
maybe it
winds
was headed
gusting to
towards it.
40.
See, look at it.
It's headed towards it. Yeah, yeah. You might have to turn around or.
Whoa. Huh. So they were following it in real time.
Yeah, people were following on a flight tracker. Is what was going on.
So
yeah,
they got stuck in the actual hurricane. They
Yeah.
flew through the hurricane. Oh my God. That is insane.
Oh wait, they landed. Hold on, 52 minutes on the ground in San Juan. They landed and turned around.
Oh. They tried to make it back
Has
to
to
America?
climb out of This is the airport. Has to climb out of SJU, and they're doing so between the outer band of Irma and the core of the storm. They went in between the bands.
Oh my God.
That's insane. That pilot needs to be hugged by everybody.
So he went in between the bands, and in doing wow, that's the most incredible thing about weather satellites. They could literally navigate this guy through those bands and tell him like where the storm is ahead.
Yeah, they have portable Dopplers here now in Los Angeles too, where it's so accurate now that you can just see your street level of like if there's a cloud above you.
Look at this. While it looks terrifying, Delta maintains that their pilots had everything under control. Our meteorology team is the best in the business. Eric Snell, vice president for Delta Operations and Customer Center, told the Washington Post, DL-302 departed San Juan with 173 passengers on board, according to Delta. Jesus Christ.
Good PR for them. Jeez.
Yeah. Of course, being on that airplane probably was the worst flight you'll ever have in your life.
They took a hard look at the weather data and the track of the storm and worked with the flight crew and dispatcher to agree it was safe to operate the flight. Ooh.
What would you do if you're about to get on that plane and they're telling you what they're going to do?
I would shit all over myself.
I'd probably say I'll stay at the airport and risk it.
Oh, I'd be like, fuck this, man. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to take my backpack. I'm sleeping on the ground. Yeah. I assume that you guys turned this thing into some sort of a hurricane shelter.
Have you been to the airport in Puerto Rico?
No.
I haven't been to the San Juan one, but I was at one on the other side of the island.
It's made of cardboard.
You do not want to
you're right.
Oh, my God.
You don't want to
get in the plane.
You're right.
I'd probably get in the plane.
It's like a rundown Burbank airport.
But they got away with it. Puerto Rico didn't get totally hit. They only got like a little piece of it.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about these kind of storms. So you could just get unlucky, and it just runs right over your spot. Or you can be right next to that and go, Lord was looking out for us. Like, okay, you sure? Are you sure you just didn't get lucky? Like, we're dealing with impossible forces. Like, a hurricane the size of Ohio is an impossible force. Like, that, I don't think we really understand what the fuck that means. I think that's one of those things where someone says, $1 trillion billion. Like, yeah, that's a lot. But you don't really think about it. You know, you don't really understand what that means. Because it's too much. The size of the universe is too much. The power that thing has, it's just too much. It doesn't make sense. You'd have to see it. You'd have to be there.
Do you see the video? I don't know if it's real either, but the video of I don't know if it was today's hurricane. This guy's trying to hold his truck, like he had like a pickup truck, trying to hold it so it doesn't tip over.
Oh, Jesus.
And the winds were so strong, he just gets squished by it. I mean, it's hard to see because it was raining so hard. But
This guy's got to be crazy. Why would he do that?
yeah,
A truck is about to flip, and you think you're going to stop it with your hands? Have you watched too many movies, motherfucker? It can pick up a truck. Can you pick up a truck? No. Then get the fuck out of
I'm not
there.
going to put this on YouTube, but we can watch it.
What is it?
The video.
Oh, this is the guy? Oh, Jesus. Oh, dude, that's a wrap.
yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy. That guy's crazy. Look at that thing fucking in the breeze. He should have got out of there, man.
Oh, yeah, he just sandwiched.
Yeah, he got crushed. He didn't handle it well.
No, I would.
You can't get out from under that. That's too much weight. You're dead.
Wow.
Fuck.
It's those fast ones that get me. Like that guy probably just was like, "Oh, well, my truck's about to boom,
Yeah.
you're dead."
Well, the thing about these kind of hurricanes are how many of them can you get in a row? Because if they're saying there's 2 more in a row behind Irma,
In 2005, I think it was, they got hit. Florida got hit like 4 times in a row in like 2
Yeah, but
weeks,
these are like
3 weeks, 4
5s.
weeks.
Those were like 2s and 3s. These are 5s. And you know
Category
Jose.
5s.
You know Jose is going right for Washington D.C. You know,
Hurricane Jose.
Jose's going to be the big one.
Do you think so?
I don't know. Probably won't even hit United States.
I'm worried about them all, man. I'm worried about earthquakes. I'm worried about asteroids. I'm worried about super volcanoes. We're dealing with just a small amount of history. That's what's going on. I mean, especially when it comes to weather. Our history of the weather is like, what, a couple hundred years old? Like, what's our recorded history of the weather?
It's less than that, but
If you had to guess, what's our recorded history of the weather?
1878.
That sounds good. I'm saying something like that. I'm saying somewhere around like 200 years they started figuring it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
they were writing stuff down around Columbus times. Let's just
Were
go.
they?
I'd say 300 years.
1816.
I wonder when they can measure though. Like when they knew when they were cold. Like fuck, it's cold out. I wonder when they knew what that meant though. Like if there was a number.
I guess we needed tools also to track. That's after I'm now seeing the year, it makes way more sense what I just found. So,
the invention of the thermometer. When was that?
right. I don't. Well, I'll look that up too. Just so I can.
I'm gonna guess 1755.
So that's a good one. I would say 1812.
1812. You're probably right. It's probably more recent than we think.
Application of mercury on the Fahrenheit scale, 1724.
Ooh.
But the first recorded temperature, it says here, was 1880.
Oh,
Going back to the
1878.
1880s.
wow.
1878. It was 2 years off.
That's amazing.
So you probably had to have something touch it back then, touch the mercury. And I don't know
Yeah,
how they get the
and
air
how
to
they
do it.
figured out what. I mean, look, we can't even agree on the metric system versus inches.
Yeah.
What's interesting there, then, if that was the first time they could ever actually, like, calculate the degrees, did they have measurement for degrees before that? Did they have like temperature measurements before that? Like, what did they use? Like when they were talking about like how hot is a fire? Like, what did they use?
Era of precision.
They have no idea.
Yeah. They touched it. No,
Yeah, it's
that's
hot.
super hot.
Oh, that ice is cold. Like, did they have any idea? Like, did they even describe it in measurement?
And the clinical thermometer wasn't invented until 1866.
It was probably some dude with a regular thermometer just stuck it up his ass. Somebody caught him, and he was like, "Oh, bro, I'm just making sure that this thing works on people."
It took 5 minutes instead of 20.
Because it was up his ass. Heated it up. That's
In 99, they started. In 1999 is when the forehead thermometer came out, and that takes
1999?
2 seconds. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I like
the
those.
first temporal artery thermometer.
1999.
That's the one you put on your forehead, right?
That's nuts. That just happened. The crazy thing is the idea that before the thermometer, they didn't really have a number when they were talking about things being cold or hot. Like, did they? When did they invent units of measurement for temperature? When was that invented?
That's what I'm looking right here.
Because obviously there's more than one, right? There's Celsius and there's Fahrenheit. The Celsius is the one that's based on the metric system that's used by almost everybody except for us. We're fucking assholes. You know, they'll say something like, "Oh, it's 35 degrees out." And you're like, "What are you talking about? That's not hot." And they go, "Oh, your Celsius is. What is that? Like 80?"
And
35 degrees is hot as fuck, right?
that'd be cool if we all had the same like currency also, but it just costs
Right.
more in different places. Like, why don't we just make everything easy on everything?
Because everybody's corrupt, and if we were all together, someone would fuck us up, and we would lose all the money. Someone would siphon all the money up. They would weasel their way through the whole batch of it. If we have a bunch of different factions and a bunch of different languages, everybody sort of keeps peace, and no like super wizard, Despicable Me character comes along and hijacks the entire system. The earliest recorded system of weights and measurements, what does it say about temperature?
I don't know, but I mean, temperature would take a while.
Yeah, but history of measurement is not what I'm asking because I know that they've had scales for a long time.
Yep,
but like,
okay.
what about when was a unit of measurement for temperature invented?
Got length, typographical mass, time.
Yep.
This doesn't say temperature.
Doesn't say temperature?
Not
Well,
on this.
somebody had to like not have it, and then they had it. There must be a date, right? Wouldn't
Probably,
you guess?
and it probably would have started like this is the temperature of a dead raven or something like that, and this is a snake. And
1659. Wow.
Central England temperature.
Wow. So what did they use to
CT.
measure it?
CT.
What the fuck did they use to measure it if they didn't have thermometers?
See, this should say.
God damn, it's freaky. Right? I mean, imagine not having a thermometer and trying to measure the heat.
This sounds like your inner dialogue of you at night at 3 in the morning.
It is. It is, man. I got fucking problems, dude. Especially if I smoke a joint. It's crazy how normal life can seem, and then you smoke a joint, you're like, oh no, it's not normal at all. It's so crazy.
100%.
Dude, no, life seems so normal. And so, like, you know, hey, what's up, neighbor? How's everybody doing? And then you smoke a joint and just watch a little bit of news about Irma, or about any of these things. Irma freaked me out the other night, man. I made one of them 2 o'clock in the morning Instagram posts. I was just going online and looking at storm footage. I was like, what if these just keep hitting
Yeah.
over and over and over and over and over?
Yeah. I watched a documentary about how our coral and our ocean's dying recently, and it
Yeah,
freaked me the
dude.
fuck out. And it's like all based on like 2 degrees of temperature that it's doing. Like the oceans are 2 degrees hotter.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, there's like 8 billion people. Couldn't we just all throw ice into the ocean at the same time? It would probably
I think they
fix
thought
it.
that through. I said that last night as a joke to somebody. You know what we could do, though, for real, is apparently wearing sunscreen in the water is fucking terrible for coral. And people don't give a shit.
Oh, it's like an oil. Never thought about that, right?
It's chemical.
Yeah.
I mean, sunscreen, whatever that stuff is it's weird,
It's
man.
like the face beads
Yeah.
scrubs that you can't destroy.
Right.
There's little,
Yeah, those things like get stuck in your drain.
yeah.
Like, but that stuff that they use for sunscreen, like, how good is that for your skin to spray that chemical on there?
I never use sunscreen.
I have to use it because of my vitiligo, because of the different colors in my hand. Like, if otherwise, it's like if you're a white guy, vitiligo is not nearly as obvious as if you're a black guy, right? When black people have it, it's crazy contrast. And if I don't do it, also, like, I worry that I don't have pigment in those areas. So if I don't have pigment, like where my fingers are, like, and that shit gets cancer or something like
shit.
that, like, you don't have anything that's blocking skin cancer.
You should wear like backwards dice gloves.
Oh! How about 2 Michael Jackson gloves? The conclusion from the media is sunscreen is killing the world's coral.
Wow.
And that's laughable.
What?
Yeah. It says right here that 10% of the global reefs are at least only 10%, and many of them are remote and without tourists that even get near them. And that study was done with artificial seawater,
So that study's bullshit?
maybe. And this was also
maybe.
on Mashable, so I don't
See,
know.
you know what, man? I read stuff like
So-
that, and Eddie Bravo, Alice Jones comes at me, and I'm like, who the fuck is paying for that article to
I know,
get written?
it's
Johnson
Yeah.
Johnson.
It's
Could be a
goddamn
PR.
it's fucking sunscreen industry, bro. You know how much money's in sunscreen, bro?
Wine
Every
Tropic.
fucking mom who loves their kids puts sunscreen on their baby, bro. That's how people start thinking. Maybe they're right. It's hard to know who's fucking telling the truth. There's too much fake news.
That's not fake.
That guy's crazy. Did you see
Parents
all
don't
this?
know why son ran to his death in the Burning Man fire. I'm going to guess drugs.
Yes, definitely acid.
But they had security around it too, is what I was reading.
Yeah,
They had a
one
fence around it,
fireman.
and-
Who knows, man? That's sad, though.
Yeah.
It's fucking sad. It's a sad way to die.
And he
Had a big-
tripped.
He did?
Saw-
Yeah, like he was so fucked up. Maybe he didn't see, but he tripped him into the fire.
Oh, no.
Like the next picture shows him like
I don't
falling.
want. I don't
Yeah.
want to see this.
Oh wow,
Poor dude. Poor dude.
Sad.
He looks like every dude at Burning Man. He's got that, like new age hippie look. That's a sad way to die, man. That's a sad fucking story. And you would hope that he didn't have like a mental issue and then took a drug and then had that episode. People that are like where reality's already slippery for them, like really strong psychedelics, not recommended.
Yeah, but he could have just been that fucked up, and
Yep.
you have a big Burning Man in front of you. Like
Just fuck
I've
it.
been that fucked where I could have thought that I was running into ice cream or something.
Yeah, for sure, right? That's a problem with psychedelics.
Yeah.
And it's also the problem with, and look, everybody's reactions to these things are got to be like at least slightly different, right? And some people just aren't designed for them, for maybe one style of psychedelic. Just like some people aren't designed for alcohol. You know, some people, they shouldn't drink. It doesn't work with them. Who knows what happened, but that's fucked, man. Imagine being there and watching that kid run into the fire and just be thinking, like, is this real? Is he really running into the fire? You're all fucked up anyway. I mean, you're not sober. You're not, even if you were sober, you'd probably feel like you were on drugs. You're around all these people that are tripping balls. You're watching this thing burst into fire, and then you watch a guy run into the fire. You're probably like, what is this? Is this a movie? Like, what the fuck is happening here? Whenever there's like an extraordinary event like that, you always feel like it's not real. Like, what? Like, what? What's happening? You're like, I don't expect this guy to run into the fire. You see someone run in the fire. Did he run in the fire? Like, your brain is scrambling so hard to process it. That's why they say that people, when they see like something fucked up happen, their eyewitness accounts are so bad. Because so many people, like, they don't even remember what the hell happened. They're just so shattered by it all. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a story about a kid. I think he's in the juvenile penal system in New York or something, but he's been used by the system to convict like 35 people or something that didn't do anything wrong. And like the article was about the shit he's dealing with.
He's being used? How?
I'll pull it up real quick because he's done something and like probably they're using him to get his sentence reduced.
Oh, so he sets other people up?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Jesus Christ. That's the weird one, that they're allowed to have fake crime and then arrest you for it. Like the FBI's done that with people. Like talk someone into making a bomb and then they give them the parts and then they give them the bomb and then they like tell them to go somewhere and blow it up and they do it and then they arrest them.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that, right?
They are allowed to.
How are you allowed to fish people?
They are. They're allowed to, man.
That's like the old hooker thing. Like you have to.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they talk you into it. Yeah. It's but they're allowed to do that now. It's not like it used to be. What is that term that I'm looking for? The old hooker thing. Seduction. Right? No, that's not even it. No, entrapment. Entrapment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're allowed to do that now. The slippery slope is definitely going in the wrong direction. Like they're allowed to, like, you could take a really impressionable guy. There was this one guy they did it to in Texas that was supposed to be he was very mentally challenged. He wasn't a very smart guy. And this is the guy that they talked into trying to detonate this fake bomb that they had given him. And then they arrested him.
Wow. That's really fucked
like
up.
They found some dude who was like super troubled. And they just
they needed a reason.
Mind fucked him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can mind fuck someone in the name of religion. You can mind fuck someone. There's a lot of different ways. If you are, especially, you got to think like the FBI. It's like super powerful organization of people that have like had decades of experience in the field, know how to handle people, know how to deal with weird shit.
That Manson chick's about to get released. I wonder how
what
she's going.
What is that about?
Yeah, she's
Keep
gonna
her in there, please.
I know, and she's not going to know any of this technology. Imagine
she's not
getting
going to know
thrown.
anything. Yeah, she killed a pregnant lady, right? Isn't she one of the ones that was the Tate LaBianca killings?
Yeah, wasn't she? She was the youngest. She was the cheerleader.
How old was she?
I want to say she was 17.
Jesus
But
Christ.
I don't remember if it was 15.
She's in
or
her
something.
like late 60s now. Like imagine that life, going from being a young teenager to your entire life you're in a cage, and then all of a sudden as you're an old lady, they go ahead, get out for a little bit. You're like, what
the fuck?
Like that's a crazy documentary waiting to happen. I hope someone's studying her. I hope there's like a good documentary person that's on that.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a crazy documentary.
I mean, who does she live with? Like maybe that filmmaker's like, hey, you can stay in my Van Nuys one-bedroom apartment if I can record everything.
Oh, Jesus. Have some sort of a pay site.
Right. That Manson house.
She turns into a cam whore.
Yeah, Manson house.
Do you think you're allowed to be a cam whore after you get out of jail for murder?
Of course. And she's going to have the tightest pussy known to man.
I don't know about all that. She's probably been sticking hammers in there for the last 20 years. I mean, she's been locked up for a long time.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on in there?
Fist.
Probably,
fist.
for sure. Definitely a few different fists over the last 35 plus years. Like when were the Manson killings was probably like 45, 50 years ago, right? Wasn't it? Was it the 60s?
70s?
Was it? No, I don't think it was the 70s. I want to say it was maybe. Tate LaBianca murders, Manson.
1969.
69.
Wow.
69, a lot of shit, huh? Woodstock. Wasn't that when Hendrix died? Did he die in 69?
That picture was in 60, or that that thing says 69 on it. May 3rd.
I want to say he died in 69 or 70, but I don't remember. People really do remember, though, and they get super mad if you don't know. Bro, July 27th, 1968. Don't ever fuck that up again. It's Jimi Hendrix. That's like John Goodman's character in The Big Lebowski.
I could just ask Siri when he died.
Good, ask Siri.
When did Jimi Hendrix die?
Jimi Hendrix died September 18th, 1970.
Ooh. Off by
I found out recently there's a building that's still there on Franklin in Hollywood where Charles Manson used to live and run his whores out of, which I didn't know he was doing.
He was a pimp?
Yeah, pimping girls to people that were staying at the Roosevelt.
Now it's a Color Me Bad, right?
Color Me Mine is what you meant to say, but perfect. Color Me Bad's a band.
I know. Color Me Mine.
I
love
got
Color
it,
Me
though.
Mine.
Those are great. You can make
fun.
a nice mug.
Yep. Painted a dolphin last time I was there.
All right, we should wrap this up. I got to get the fuck out of here. I got a bunch of shit to do. Boys, it's been a lot of fun. Brian, you got any shows coming up? I know you do.
Yeah, November 8th, I'll be at Morty's in Indianapolis
That's a great
with
club.
Kate Quigley. And then the following day, November 9th, I'll be at the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio. And then maybe New York.
Dude, I like that you're going out on the road, like just you and one other person.
Yeah, me and Kate.
That's a smart move, man. It's a great way to build your act, too, right?
Yeah, it's fun. Get nice. And we're doing, like, I just got back from the Mall of America in Edmonton. Did like 7 shows in 5 days. That was,
dude,
like, what
right?
a workout. That's
Isn't
like,
that the best?
Yeah.
You get
what a
tightened
workout.
up, you know?
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub was saying that to me after he got back from Dublin. He was like, dude, just all those reps. I'm like, that's what it's all about. You get those 4 or 5 set a weekend, weekends, and you're like, woo, tight.
So great. And every sometimes you have 2 nights or 2 shows a night, and then you just, hey, I want to fix this in my act. And, like, it's like instant gratification.
Yeah, no, it's the shit. All right, that's it. DeathSquad.tv for all your podcast needs and memorabilia and powerful stamps.com. Still using them?
Oh, hell yeah. Stamps.com. I'm wearing Me Undies right now.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. I love it. So soft.